weapon. My neighbors all know how to shoot a weapon, so we're good.
And that thing will go bang.
How much ammunition do you guys have individually in Texas that's going to hold off invasion?
I'm sorry?
I mean, how much ammunition do you guys, you gun owners, usually have stored or sitting around on the coffee table? Is it enough?
Oh, no, we have a well, I will tell you, some folks and others have cabinets full, ammunition, and, you don't have to just have little amounts. You can store it, with that kind of stuff, and people have chests full of that stuff. They don't just have a little bit laying around, because you have the right to store that and protect yourselves. And the state, that's why they encourage people to go to the gun range and stuff here legally, ethically, under the law, and follow the laws. I keep the law right on the back of my door, so when that door swings open, I know before it swings open, I'm looking at those laws. So that is important. But if you had a foreign invader, you would have every right to defend your property at all costs, and the government would allow you to do that, and I would be okay with doing that.
I'm just saying, when you guys do that, you make me think that you have enough ammunition and enough guns to fight off another army. Is that true?
Exactly what I'm trying to say, because you are portraying America like a third world country. I'm from a third world country. I'm from Africa. You see, all these things can happen in a third world country. It can't happen in America. It's not possible. It's not.
Brother, we're a third world country now. I don't know if you heard that.
There is no amount of weapon you want to have in America as an individual or as a group that you want to topple the government. Maybe you watch too much American movies. That's why.
No, we're not talking about toppling the government. We're saying that there's enough ammunition here in Texas, three to four guns per person. If you're in a house and, each adult has 2 guns per person, that could work for what you're trying to defend, because you see what I'm saying? Because if the people around you know how to shoot, you're not shooting by yourself. You're shooting behind cover, and you're shooting to defend what you have. And you have the right to open fire on somebody, especially if it's more than one person. You get a machine gun. The state would allow you to purchase a machine gun in the threat of invasion. They would allow that kind of stuff, and there's a gun shop that would sell them to me. There you go. So you're good. Buy one. They're illegal. Do buy.
Okay, any other gun owners on the stage? I want to will agree that you guys can hold off.
Absolutely, right here. What's your question?
My question is, how long do you think that you can hold off an invading force from another country?
An invading force from
in fairness, if a foreign army was coming here, Texas is probably the last state they would go to. They would not.
They're going to go to a coastal state. They're not going to just go inland. They're going to go to a coastal state. But I will say
they're gonna go Oregon, right? They ain't got nothing to worry about.
Oh, yeah, they definitely not going to Florida or Texas. That's
no.
Why? Well, Florida possibly. Actually, I won't say no to Florida. Florida's a possibility because it's easily accessible.
In Oregon.
Even though Texas is heavily armed, it doesn't mean that y'all can go through the range, but firing under duress is completely different than doing anytime.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
and I will say this too, and people got to know this, especially gun owners.
Yeah.
How to put this with being respectful. I would say 60 to 70% of the people that own guns have never actually discharged it into another person, probably more, right? And there's a barrier that exists if you haven't done it before. When shooting a target, shooting things downrange, and actually discharging that with the intent to end life into a human person, most people hesitate in the moment of truth. That leads to fucking death. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't care how.
Yeah, but that goes for police officers. There's plenty of police officers that have never had to fire.
No, I'm not just saying, I'm not trying to target anybody. I'm just saying in general, this is a fact. For anybody that knows weaponry and have been around guns and have had to do what you need to do, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
There is a barrier that most people can't break when it comes to actually shooting somebody. And I've had friends that were killed by their own gun because they pulled it and didn't finish the job. Like once you up that ante and you put it life or death on the line, because once you pull a gun, it is a life or death situation at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is when the rubber meets the road, and you get to see who's who.
And you cannot shoot anybody in the back. If they're leaving the premises, you cannot shoot them in the back. If they're closing that gap and they're facing you, you absolutely have to close that gap and you have to shoot them. You cannot hesitate or anything like that kind of stuff. Because like my folks told me, get behind something. Don't open yourself up. Get skinny. Stay skinny and shoot. Don't open your body up, and you will have a lot better chance of living than trying to,
So to answer Lisa's question, no, Lisa.
Can I
The simple answer
can I say something?
is hell no.
Yeah,
Can I say something?
No.
that's it. Lisa's question. We was answering Lisa's question. Gemini said hell no, and I said no.
Can I say something?
That's a fact.
Somebody said, can they ask a question? Sure.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah. Holding a weapon is one thing. Knowing how to use it is another thing. Okay, I remember that was the origin of is it Palestine or something, where Osama bin Laden was killed. And if you noticed, that was during the Obama regime. Special forces were sent there. They were not. That mission wasn't meant for anybody. It was meant for special people. Like in America, you have special agents that are trained to kill. Yeah. You might have the same weapon they have, but you don't have the same mindset they have. That is where it comes to when when you have a weapon and you know how to use it and you have the mind to use it. That is another thing. You might hold a weapon and shoot someone, the person is half dead, and you'll be scared and might not want to shoot again. But there are people that are trained for it. That is where special people comes in.
No, I mean, I understand. I'm not saying that you should go out here and, act like, special forces, but when you're in your property, you know the layout of your land or your property. I mean, look, you have, like, one of my friends, he said, look, if I know that there are people trying to surround me, I got to get the high ground. Now I can pick you off in a tree in my yard. He was like, look, that, you know what I mean? And so he designed a little perch or whatever you want to call it, so if something happens, you can get up there, so there are ways for you to defend your property against people who may try to invade what you're trying to do. Am I saying for everybody to do that? No, but you need to know how to shoot a gun, at least basic skills. We learned how to shoot a gun at the age of 12 out here in Texas. At least I did. I don't know about everybody else, but I
Okay,
learned how
so
to do
breaking
that.
news, you gun owners. So no one's going to be coming over here anytime soon.
No.
Everyone, welcome to the 420 Lounge. And the title is Trump is the #1 president in the world because he's brokered. He's finally brokered a ceasefire to a war that he helped start. Now, isn't that wonderful? Isn't that great?
Wow.
So what I got breaking news from the best station in the world who's gonna break this news to you, and that's Fox. It is the most accurate, it is the most concise, it is the most well documented news station, I think, on the planet. Most qualified news reporters, just everything, you know what I mean? And all you guys should be getting your news from one source and one source only, and that is Fox News. And then next is Twitter. That's it. You can get your news from nowhere else. So I'm gonna play this because I'm gonna thumbs down. We're gonna try to get my guest in here. She is back from Gaza, working or volunteering. She can give you the whole, I don't want to misquote her or misqualify her or do any of that, but she is a physician. She's actually specializing in peds. We are going to respect her in this room. She has to download this app, plus she has some duties that she needs to take care of in her home. So she'll be calling from the West Coast to all of us, and so it's still pretty sunny and bright out there, so I'm going to give her grace to get her family together because she's been working all day. So what we're gonna do is gonna go and listen to fabulous news. Uh, Trump announces Iran, Israel have agreed to a complete and total ceasefire. Your president has done it again. Okay? I know, Mr. Wick. I know, Mr. Wick. I'm sorry we can't bring it to you hot off the goddamn skillet, but some of us were working. Come on, Robert. And I heard it already. We've heard it already. Some people. Thank you. I need a soundboard. And I'm supposed to be getting a mixtape, but I'm not gonna say anything. But we're gonna listen to this, and we're gonna get all the correct information from Fox. Before we do this, before I press play, does anybody else have any breaking news? Because this is about 4 to 5 minutes long. Anybody have any breaking news?
I do.
Before we play? Yes. Okay, Nine.
Yeah, okay, I got something for you. I know I heard Brian, actually I don't want to put a name on it, I don't know who said this earlier. I heard a gentleman say earlier that either Iran or Israel had confirmed the ceasefire and that they're going to be compliant, but I just did my due diligence and neither country has confirmed it at all. Their government has not spoke in confirmation. So this is merely Trump saying this, and there's no confirmation there at this point.
Isn't that crazy? Because I was going to say the same thing.
Yep.
I haven't found any of these two countries saying a mumbling fucking word. Seems like they'll be out, especially Israel, because Netanyahu can't stop talking. So now that he got this deal, he must don't like it. He's not saying anything. And I thought Netanyahu said he wasn't going to stop. He wasn't going to stop.
He was on his book. I thought I told you.
Can't stop,
Something
won't
ain't
stop.
right. Here we
Wasn't
go
gonna
again.
stop.
Something ain't right. Something ain't right.
So we got a ceasefire between us and Iran, but that's just us.
Actually, that might have been CEO that said it was confirmed. I want to put that on Brian. I think that was CEO that said it.
Right, it was.
And he's still here, CEO. Why we can't find nothing on this ceasefire from Iran or from...
CEO, you can't be acting like Trump. I mean, Trent. I'm sorry, Trent.
He did that on purpose.
Breaking news. I have no proof.
CEO, could you do me a favor, sir, and just cite your source so I could be as enlightened as you on this topic?
I think he's still looking too.
He's still trying to find his own...
Hey, I ain't mad at him. Do we all want to go to war? You know what I'm saying?
No,
It's
but
like-
it's not that we don't want to.
I wish I was wrong.
No, that is factually based. Like, that's the one thing I like about this room is we cite sources, we have factually based conversations, and we correct each other when we're inaccurate with the details or the information that's being divulged. So I just want to be able to see the source and verify that. So.
And my the 2 cents worth, I continue to repeat this. This mofo lies, and for me, take anything he says with a grain of salt. President or no president, he lies more than he breathes. So him announcing a ceasefire, what's that old Ronald Reagan saying? Trust but verify. And that's sad to say that I need another source besides what the president says to confirm what he says.
I like that, Brian, what you put in the chat, because there was actually that, I don't know if you know, but that was a real story that happened out here in Los Angeles where a firefighter was setting all these fires and then showing up and getting awards.
Oh yeah, you read it? Yeah.
He was setting all the fires and then he was showing up and getting awards until they charged him like 63 counts of arson. I forget how many counts. It was so many fires he had set, bro. That's a real thing.
Okay, so I'm giving you guys a choice here. We can either hear this complete and total ceasefire agreement from your Vice President J.D. Vance, or we can get it from Brett Hume from Fox. Which do you have?
You know, Fox is the most credible news source. Even though they had to pay $750 million about lying about the election, that's what they're very
Gross. Yeah, let's hear Vance. I can understand my enemy.
Are you sure? Because the other one is reporting. It's the same guy. Is what's his name? Brett, whatever his name is. He's doing both of them, but one has a reporter that's standing in Israel tonight, and the other one has J.D. Vance.
Michael said no, Vance. He's eating.
Okay, fine. So let's do this one. All right. The stage and the goo has spoken. Is Michael in the goo?
Yeah, he's in the chat. He's eating.
Tell Michael he can come here and eat on stage. All right, guys. Ping in your friends. I don't see our friends in the room. Ping in your friends. Before we get started, make sure you guys ping in some of your friends. Let me see what's going on here. Okay, let me start it then. Breaking news.
What happened with Iran in the Middle East, and some breaking news coming just now. Joining us this evening, Vice President J.D. Vance. Mr. Vice President.
Oh, so it's the same one.
Just seconds ago, the President went to Truth Social and typed this. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire. Complete and total ceasefire is what he typed. What does that mean? How did it come about? What's the development?
Connected to Mr. Steinbach.
Left the White House to come over here, so that's good news that the president was able to get that across the finish line. I think what it means, Brett, is quite simple. First of all, the president, without, knock on wood, having a single American casualty, obliterated the Iranian nuclear program. We are now in a place where we weren't a week ago. A week ago, Iran was very close to having a nuclear weapon. Now, Iran is incapable of building a nuclear weapon with the equipment they have because we destroyed it. So that's a very, very big thing. Now, what that means, I think, is we have to talk to Iran and, of course, to Israel about what the future holds. Because while we have obliterated the Iranian nuclear program, our hope and our expectation is that they're not going to try to rebuild that program. And I think that's what the president is really trying to figure out here, is to build a long-term settlement here to where we can have peace in the region, where our regional allies, and of course the American people most importantly, can be secured, but where we can ensure that the destruction of the Iranian nuclear program that has already happened is not something they try to rebuild.
I want to get to the obliterated part in just a minute, but I just want to read this fully so I get the context here. Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point, the ceasefire for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful on the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will. I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East. It didn't and never will. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. God bless the United States of America. God bless the world. He seems confident that this is all coming together.
That's right.
When you
Hi, Mr. Wonderful here. You know, I don't waste time, and I definitely don't waste money. I joined Start Engine as a strategic advisor and a shareholder and a paid spokesperson years ago because of
And when you left the White House, were you thinking this was all gelling here?
When I left the White House, I thought that we might be able to get it across the finish line before this broadcast, and it looks like the president has been able to do that. I mean, look, he's been working the phones constantly, frankly, before the 12-day war started, but certainly over the past 12 days, the president's been extremely clear about America's national objective here. It is to create a world where Iran cannot build a nuclear weapon. We, of course, destroyed the nuclear program that they had, and the president told the entire team, we're going to work to make sure that they don't try to rebuild that nuclear capability in the future. And look, this is a great thing. For Israel, think about this. They've accomplished an important military objective. They've helped us destroy the Iranian nuclear program. They've also destroyed the conventional missile capability of Iran that threatened the country of Israel. For the Iranians, I think this is a new opportunity to actually pursue the path of peace. As I said yesterday, what the Iranians have showed through their support of terror networks, through their now failed effort to build a nuclear weapon, is that they're just not very good at war. I think the president really hit the reset button and said, look, let's actually produce long-term peace for the region. That's always been his goal. I actually think when we look back, we will say the 12-day war was an important reset moment for the entire region.
Would you be surprised? Iran is sending out signals that it doesn't have a specific ceasefire plan. How would the communication have been with the Iranians to get this level of confidence to put out that detailed statement?
Well, one of the things I've learned, Brett, about the Iranians in the past, 4 or 5 months that I've been in this job is what they say publicly and privately can sometimes be very different. I think what the Iranians have shown very clearly is they don't want this war to go on for much longer. Their air defenses have been totally destroyed.
Don't eat breakfast until you learn about caloric bypass. Your breakfast is setting you up for the entire day to either gain weight or lose it. The term breakfast literally
totally destroyed. Their conventional missile program has been largely destroyed, and of course, their nuclear program has been obliterated, as I said before. So I think the Iranians are in a place where they don't want to keep on fighting. You saw the president, and I don't have the truth in front of me, but he talked about the next 6 hours, finalizing the attacks. I mean, I think what he's talking about is right now, for the American people watching, it's dark over there. That's typically when the Israelis and the Iranians have been shooting at each other. I think there's some recognition that might continue for another few hours, and tomorrow really is a new day. The end of the 12-day war, the end of the Iranian nuclear program, and I really do believe the beginning of...
Okay, so, wait, what's going on, you guys? I thought we were having what happened? They can shoot for another 12 hours?
Yeah, Trump said that in the initial statement, yes. Yes.
What's the point
that
of
was
that
said
video? What's the point?
Because basically they had because both sides had operations already in motion, so it's just a realistic way to wind it down. It's just what is the most realistic way.
I think what CEO is saying, so it doesn't look like
Translate.
so it doesn't look like one side breached it immediately after if there was something already in motion, right? So it looked like a breach of the ceasefire. They's giving them 12 hours so they can retract their troops or whatever they had going on, and then comply.
I don't really think that sense,
That don't. I mean, that's the weird. I don't understand that. So you can get your last killing tonight.
No, but like, who lets the other person know, like, yo, you can hit me a few more days, for a few more hours, but...
Yeah, go drop a few bodies. I'm sliding I'm sliding right now.
Well, look at it like this. Let's say, two people are dating, they're like, we really should be abstinent, but we're both naked in a moment, so they're like, well, let's just knock this out one more time.
That's a horrible analogy.
Now we comparing that to sex.
Now we talking about countries fucking. We are talking about countries fucking.
Word, baby, say so. Oh my God.
Okay,
I
so
guess they both
that
got
sounds like
explosions.
some Trump shit right there. Okay, all right. The war is over. Y'all get out there, get your last lick in. It's never mind. That don't make no kind of damn sense.
It's like Purge. Think of Purge. How they give you that night to go ahead and get your shit off, and then the next morning it's back to normal.
That's almost what they're saying. So can I ask CEO, why can't I find anything out of Israel nor Iran about the ceasefire? Anybody?
Reuters, yeah, the Iranian officials confirmed it with Reuters. It's multiple places. I put it in the chat. Yeah,
I was driving. I wasn't checking it out.
Yeah,
So
it's
Reuters
confirmed.
said it. I wonder why.
Sky News said it.
This up.
Yeah, it's.
What, the ceasefire?
Yes.
It's not confirmed.
Is it confirmed by Israel or is it confirmed by Russia?
It's confirmed by Iran.
What source? Cite your source. I've been looking at
Reuters.
I'm looking too. I'm on Reuters right now.
Reuters. Look
I'm
up.
on there
Look
right
up.
now.
Iran confirms.
I'm on Reuters right now. Did you find it, Gemini?
Let me know.
No, I'm looking right now though.
So what I'm saying.
Asia, stop laughing because I'm already confused.
All I see for Reuters, the title for Reuters 44 minutes ago is Trump announces Iran Israel ceasefire.
Somebody put it in the chat.
Okay, I did find this. It says the Times of Israel Senior Iranian official confirms Tehran agreeing to ceasefire. So I do see that in the timesofisrael.com.
Oh, but it says Trump says.
Come on, you guys, get it right, because we don't want to give all these Greek
It says Trump. Yeah, it says Trump.
Trump says.
I was interrupted. It was saying that his words, Trump is the one announcing the ceasefire, and Reuters did report it, but that's it so far. And then it's Qatar mediating it. So we'll see.
So there is no official confirmation from the government.
No, everything's saying Trump, according to Trump.
Yeah, everything I have is also saying Trump as well. Trump said, in every other paragraph.
Let me see what Reuters actually said though, but it's supposed to be in 12. Let me see. Okay, whatever, let's see.
Okay, so listen to this one.
Sky News, sorry, I put in the wrong thing. Sky News is in the link chat now. It says Iran confirmed.
I'm on Sky News right now as well. But everything that Trump does always got a big ass question mark and in the eye roll, because it said right here. Okay, first they gave him 12 hours to keep fighting. And this one from SkyNews.com as what's the date on here? June 24th, 1:02 UK time.
Fox News also.
Ceasefire has agreed, but I was trying to get something where these.
It says Trump as well, as Trump declares.
According to Donald Trump, the U.S. president made the announcement on Truth Social. Let me find some place where they said it. In a post shared after 1 UK time, Mr. Trump said the first stage of the ceasefire will begin 6 hours later. That's weird. This means both sides could still launch a strike in the meantime.
That's how it goes.
After.
Trump is a fucking dick, bro.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah, so here's the exact quote. A senior Iranian official told Reuters news agency that Tehran has agreed to the ceasefire.
I literally just read that.
Israeli media reports suggest Benjamin Netanyahu was also on board.
It says Israeli media reports suggest Benjamin. It didn't say he wasn't suggest. Benjamin Netanyahu was also on board, provided, you didn't read the whole thing, provided Iran stops firing missiles toward the country. This is some bullshit.
And they're wrapping it up. Like, why are we
just wrap that up?
Somebody said they hiding that you would see
The level of coping is crazy. The level of coping is crazy. It is a crazy level of coping.
Okay, so CEO, would you guys ask us for proof? You know, it's scrutinized just as much. So why is it wrong for us to go in here and try to verify this and scrutinize it and make sure we're giving out accurate?
It's not wrong at all. So it's not wrong.
Yo, somebody ping Trent in here. I think he knows something else. Come on, ping him in.
Big Daddy Trump, Lisa. You're supposed to take what he says at face value.
That says something.
Y'all need to start sucking on the orange pacifier. Quick question.
Stop playing. Okay, so Trump wrote, quote, officially Iran will start the ceasefire. Wait a minute. Listen to this carefully, you guys. Listen carefully, because this is Trump talk. Trump wrote, quote, officially Iran will start the ceasefire. And upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire. Wait, I'm not finished, y'all.
I believe it when I fucking say shit.
Wait, let's finish out this and see.
Run that back one more time.
Everybody on the same. We didn't even finish with the quote. Okay, y'all listen with your listening ears. This is from Trump. Quote, officially, Iran will start the ceasefire. And upon the 12th hour, Israel will start, and he's got ceasefire in capital letters, will start the ceasefire. And upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12th day war will be saluted by the world. And then, quote, on the assumption, and listen to this part, that everything works as it should, with which it will, I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina.
This
But don't
sounds
you-
80s
I
movie.
know.
Intelligence to get in.
Lisa, don't you remember?
Sound like a wrong year.
I've ever heard of.
Oh, they
Lisa, don't you
fucking.
remember? We talked about this an hour ago, right? Joe and I were talking about manifesting, that he basically manifested
God,
this,
manifesting,
right?
I'm
And
done.
Iran has agreed, right? And the reports are Israel has agreed, so it seems like a successful manifestation.
CEO, what are you saying? CEO, hang on a second. CEO, if I could.
Thank you. Can somebody else jump in? Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes,
I'm
please.
manifesting
So, CEO.
after two, the convict number one will fall face first down the stairs.
CEO, so I was just in a whole room. They've got over 100 people. Content, with the headline, and of course it's healthy debates with the usual suspects as mods, and they have a whole title saying it is official. Trump is the best president because ceasefire is official. I've got scoured all I actually pressed one of the mods and just asked him directly. This guy Marvin, and said, "Well, you're saying it officially."
Keep quiet, but the idea that is that they are actually trying to make propaganda, maybe those three sides, they are clear. So that means they don't have another power. And if they don't have another power, and Trump realized that, so Trump now can play and say, okay, let me bring all of them to agreement. So Trump actually can force them and they can agree. Because Israel don't have the power right now. You see, Israel right now is depending on America. And if Trump say you come to peace agreement, Netanyahu will not say no, because where will he get the 52 to go and destroy those weapons? It's going to be difficult. So I think if this one can depend on Trump, say, okay, I'm going to force them into ceasefire and they will sign it. Or Trump can say, okay, we do it like the way it used to work with the Middle East politics, where now most of the weapon has been destroyed. So next it will be, they can create a regime change, kind of. And I saw some, I think, Iranian diaspora, they are like kind of line up.
Don't mind. That's all. I don't care about his thinking.
Aw, Joel cares about us.
Of course I do. I've been saying it for years. What are you talking about?
Alright, no longer Trump. Not verified, but 3 explosions in Camp Taji. Radar equipment was destroyed with drones. Again, none of this is verified. I believe we at this point have verified through Reuters that an explosion happened.
They also confirmed that Israel accepted a ceasefire, right?
They confirmed that Israel didn't accept a ceasefire because they just blew the shit out of Tehran.
Yeah, but ceasefire doesn't mean, ceasefire.
Well, that's true. And also Iran has confirmed that they did not accept the ceasefire. Explicitly.
Yeah, Trump tried. Now he can continue blowing the shit out of things.
Well, yeah, and if this is an Iranian attack on an American base in Iraq, now Trump has the excuse he needs.
entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. He said in an interview with Sky News that it's a great day for the U.S. and for the Middle East and a wonderful day for the world. I am happy to have been able to get the job done. A lot of people were dying and it was only going to get worse. It would have brought the whole Middle East down, he said. Trump says he thinks the ceasefire is unlimited and is going to go forever. Oh, wait, what is going on?
Patty, I totally I get, Patty, that it's not a light switch you just turn off. That completely makes sense. There's many layers. But what I don't get is that we're not getting any confirmation or any hints from Iran or Netanyahu, aside from Trump. Now, is that, and this is a genuine question, is that like a war scheme tactic too? That neither of the ones that are actually directly involved in the conflict don't want to show their ceasefire hand, and Trump is leaking something? Like, it just feels weird that Trump is the only one who's tweeting this, you know?
Right.
Something ain't right, Moose. Once again.
The media, World Star.
I'm seeing other places saying it too.
Yeah,
right.
But both of them have to agree. So there's a possibility.
Saying it.
There's a possibility that the reason why they're doing the phase like that is because Israel's afraid that Iran won't stop. So that's why they're saying Iran first and then Israel next.
Right.
Yeah, nation. There's multiple sources. All the sources are saying that it's only Trump. Only Trump is in all the news sources.
Right. I
can't find a single source that says either Iran or Israel is confirming this.
Right, because it's all about America getting the ceasefire after we ding-dong, what's the word? Ding-dong ditch? When you were a kid? That's all we did was do like a warning shot over there. And ever since that, we have to say, okay, we don't want to fight. We have to sit down at the table and negotiate. And Iran will never sit down at the table with Israel.
So Iran is going to sit at the table, right? And the little shit Iran did today was just a pop war, so they could say they did something. Now, do I think Iran is not going to do, little target attacks? No, I guarantee the same shit they've been doing they're going to do.
Will Iran sit down and negotiate with Israel without us?
Why would they do it without us?
That's my point.
That's not what you said, though.
That's exactly what I said.
Okay,
yeah, I ain't here to argue, brother. I'm trying to build with y'all. But I'm just saying what I saw in World Star, and then after I went on, I saw it reported. That was the first source I saw it reported on. That was the first source I saw.
World Star is crazy.
This is tied. This is important. This is important to recognize.
That's where it belongs.
Hold up. You don't want to jump on water. I was watching porn and there was an ad right before it.
You got it from our Pornhub.
Well, what you got from you guys got it from the other website.
Pornhub and World Star. Let's stop the precedent.
Credible sources. Credible, yes, sir.
But what you guys got from Fox, you got from World Star. Ain't no
They're all saying the same thing. Ain't that something?
Star before Fox.
So it is a phase ceasefire. It's not an immediate. It's not an immediate stop. It's a phase ceasefire.
Right.
Okay.
Ceasefire between us and them.
No, it's not.
Well, Iran's not going to fight us, and we're not going to fight Iran.
It's
so that's the only ceasefire I see right now. They can still pop.
Very big.
Don't cut Patty, y'all. She's actually giving good information, and you're saying some fuckery right now, bro.
It's a phase ceasefire. I'm reading it right here. It's a phase ceasefire. So that is correct. They're going to stop the heavy attacks. Then they got to do their stand-down orders. The reason why is because they don't trust each other.
Okay, can I just ask another question to the people on Pornhub and the other one? So, did it say why Trump? Wait, I'm sorry, that's the wrong question to be asked. Netanyahu, his whole reason for going over there. Can we just back up everybody? Let's back up the car. Let's back up the U-Haul and the what else things you guys use when you're transporting troops. He said The reason he even started that is because of the buildup of nuclear capability by Iran. That's why he even went over there with that urgency. And since then, they've been trading back and forth. So let's move up. Then we sent over B-2 bombers and dropped, 17 bombs or some shit like that, hitting 3 installments that we thought this particular nuclear material, I don't know the correct word, was being either housed or being developed or whatever, right? So then we found out, I think somebody's trying to save face, something's not right here. We found out from Iran, even before this happened, because I need to find that interview. Y'all don't remember I was translating this interview of this guy? Remember? I was actually translating it. He was speaking, and I said I have to read it in the translation. He said, and that was days before this, he said that they had moved that shit in that interview. So are you guys wanting me to believe in the rest of the 420 that they accomplished, because he said he wasn't going to stop, and he didn't stop in Gaza either, he's still going, until he was certain that they cannot no longer have the capability to build up this particular nuclear or whatever. Are we saying that that has been accomplished and Netanyahu has agreed? Because here's one more quote. He said, I am very happy to get done. The ceasefire is unlimited and is going to go forever. Adding, I don't believe they will ever be shooting at each other again. So, what? What are we saying?
I believe that this motherfucker who said last night that he was a time traveler, because now I'm starting to believe this shit for him to say that it's going to hold forever. Lisa, what? How can you say something's going to hold forever? And I don't really believe he's a time traveler, but what kind of language is this?
That's what I'm telling you. I'm reading it in quotes, verbatim.
Whoa. Y'all, I gotta say, so WorldStar reposted from Truth Social. So WorldStar is completely compromised.
Ding, ding, ding.
What? What happened?
The title in the WorldStar.
Yup. Same with Pornhub.
It's a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. It's a complete fake news.
Stop lying! Are we lying again? Are you guys being serious?
I'm gonna post it. Yeah, I'm gonna post it.
Please do that.
Wow.
I was trying to post the Pornhub link.
I need to run for office. I am always getting all this shit right. I'm running for Black woman world.
You need it, Lisa. We need a cabinet with some real sisters and just women
I
represented.
told you this didn't make sense when I was on my lunch break. I said, this don't feel right, y'all. It don't feel right. And here we go with this shit. He says, because Netanyahu made it plain, and has Nettie ever let us down? He said he's going to keep going until he has accomplished that mission. He wasn't going to stop. Now you guys are telling me that he's going to stop and never shoot at them again?
No, I'm more confused now than ever. You guys got me all confused.
How long has he been on this? Netanyahu been on this mission for years.
Like, I don't understand. Are they stopping? Are they slowing down? Like, I don't...
I need to do more digging. We need to do more digging. We got to do more digging.
I told you guys just wait for Trent to come here. Trent has to build
I came there.
Then we know where the lie is.
He's making
That's the
that
crazy
car
part.
sale. He's selling a car.
Aren't you surprised that he hasn't came here to say any news today?
True. Not maybe.
It's a Monday. He's selling cars.
Something happened at the border.
Trump ceasefire also on live TV. Okay, so what is going on with that? Trump ceasefire fully agreed to between. I don't see nothing here.
What I got from Business Insider, it says President Donald Trump, the ceasefire will go into effect Tuesday morning local time. Trump said the announcement comes after Israel and Iran. Yes, you got it. Spent the past week and a half trading strikes. President Donald Trump said on Monday evening that Israel and Iran have agreed to a complete and total ceasefire.
Right, but that's just true. again, it's just Trump, right? Not the average.
I will say this though, like in all fairness, right? We're all trolling aside. We have been giving him a lot of grief because he came in during the campaign trail touting himself as the peaceful president that was going to dead all the wars and he was going to end Ukraine and Russia within 24-hour period. And now that he's actually attempting to do it, even though he bombed first, we understand that, right? He's actually trying to put it out there, even if it's manifestation, and we're giving the same criticism. Like, I kind of feel like we're being hypocritical on that level, right?
We gave him more grace.
At least let him attempt to see if he can create a ceasefire. Like, I think that's a step in the right direction, no?
100%, Gemini, 100%. But I just think, I don't want, as I'm all about manifestation, do it daily with meditation, but it's one thing to manifest and be like, all right, let's hope for, right? We have nothing to lose at this point. Let's hope for the best. But when you have folks out here saying it's confirmed, that's just my only problem I have here, because that's literally fake news. That the only person that is saying this on the planet, as far as we know, is the lunatic in the White House. But hey, I'm all for it. Let's, if he's got BBs here, and then let's rock it. Let's make it happen. But the whole thing seems like wag the dog, seems suspect. Talking about regime change 1 hour, talking about the war's over the next hour. I mean, he is a sociopath, so this is typical behavior for him.
He's panicking under no king's
He's
march.
definitely acting like a Gemini. This is crazy.
Why do I have to catch strays? Why do I have to catch strays for no reason? No reason. This is not even right.
That's why I don't subscribe to astrology.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're looking at the left side of his face or the right side. It's crazy.
I'm still looking here. Lisa, this is schizophrenic diplomacy, okay?
Look at that.
Yeah, Hex said, this is, he's bipolar. This is Hex said, he said, oh no, we're not doing regime change. Vance goes on and said, our beef isn't with the Iranian people, it's about disarming nuclear. Tulsi Gabbard said, there's no nuclear threat. And then Trump says, oh my dear, we're going after regime change. Like, hey, what the fuck is he doing? Like, who trust him? Okay, we're gonna hear them 2 weeks, and then he bombs them in like the next day. It's like, it's ridiculous. I don't trust anything this man said until it's concrete. Okay?
Yeah, San Diego
this is
showing
like
up.
diplomacy by, yeah, it's crazy. But the thing about it, you guys, please, we're dealing with Trump. Everything he's said thus far since he's been in office has been either a lie or a stretching of the truth till it's completely out of shape, like your old ass granny panties stretched completely out of fucking shape, and it's not making sense. I'm going through everything trying to find it. I found nothing. Like, what? Come on. Example of all the people who just been details.
Have y'all heard what J.D. Vance had to say about this?
We were trying to listen to J.D. Vance, but I couldn't get through it. So you want to add something to it?
You listened to it, but you couldn't get through it. I don't think.
No, we didn't get to the whole interview on Fox. You guys.
Oh, yeah, I got it right here.
Okay. Happened with Iran and the Middle East, and some breaking news coming just now. Joining us this evening, Vice President J.D. Vance. Mr. Vice
we
President.
were listening to that. Fast forward a little bit.
Seconds ago, the president went to Truth Social and typed this. It happened with Iran and the Middle East.
That's fine. Leave it there. Leave it there.
Happened with Iran and the Middle East.
It's this. Hold on.
Leave it where you have it. Don't try to fast forward it because it's gonna cause you too much consternation. Just go ahead. You can play it from that point.
Especially if it's a TikTok.
Oh, that's TikTok?
I don't know. Well, TikTok, you can't fucking fast forward. It's not a TikTok.
I think what the Iranians have shown very clearly is they don't want this war to go on for much longer. Their air defenses have been totally destroyed. Their conventional missile program has been largely destroyed. And of course, their nuclear program has been obliterated, as I said before. So I think the Iranians are at a place where they don't want to keep on fighting. You saw the president, and I don't have the truth in front of me, but he talked about the next 6 hours finalizing the attacks. I think what what he's talking about is right now, for the American people watching, it's dark over there. That's typically when the Israelis and the Iranians have been shooting at each other. I think there's some recognition that that might continue for another few hours, and tomorrow really is a new day. The end of the 12-day war, the end of the Iranian nuclear program, and I really do believe the beginning of something very big for peace in the Middle East.
So you said totally obliterated. The president has said totally obliterated the Iran nuclear program.
Yeah.
Do you know for sure where all the highly enriched uranium is?
Well, Brett, I think that's actually not the question before us. The question before us is, can Iran enrich the uranium to a weapons-grade level, and can they convert that fuel to a nuclear weapon? And we know, based on the success of our mission, of course, the leadership of the president, but the incredible skill of our military, that the two mission objectives are completely successful. We know that they cannot build a nuclear weapon. Now, you asked about the highly enriched uranium.
Like 900 pounds.
But what we know, Brett, is that uranium is something that exists in very large supply. Our goal was to bury the uranium, and I do think the uranium is buried, but our goal was to eliminate the enrichment and eliminate their ability to convert that enriched fuel into a nuclear weapon. I think that's an important point, Brett, because so many of the folks who focused on the highly enriched uranium, the main focus, Brett, has been to destroy their enrichment capacity, because we don't want that 60% uranium to become 90% uranium. That's the real concern, and that's what was so successful about our mission.
So after all this, if the Iranian government survives as is, what's to stop it from rebuilding over time if they in fact moved the 60% highly enriched uranium? That's the concern.
No, the big concern, Brett, and this is again what we destroyed, is their ability to enrich uranium. If they have 60% enriched uranium, but they don't have the ability to enrich it to 90%, and further, they don't have the ability to convert that to a nuclear weapon, that is mission success. That is the obliteration of their nuclear program, which is why the president, I think, rightly is using that term. But here's the question. If Iran is desperate to build a nuclear weapon in the future, then they're going to have to deal with a very, very powerful American military again. Our hope is that the lesson that the Iranians have learned here is, look, we can fly a bunker buster bomb from Missouri to Iran, completely undetected on the ground, and we can just...
Hold that, sis.
Did he just
I'm live in Iran, okay? And Israel is launching missiles.
Are we surprised?
I'm live in Iran. So let me just back this up a little bit so y'all can hear it, so you don't think I'm lying. Oh, damn it. Did I mess it up? Let me go ahead and finish yours. This is such bullshit. Something's not right again with this fake ass ceasefire and your lump-a-dump-a, you know who. Okay, something is not right here. So let me try to get this back to where I had it. Go ahead, April, and finish your cut, and I'm gonna try to get back to where I had it. This is crazy.
Destroy whatever nuclear capacity you build up. I think that lesson is what's going to teach them not to rebuild their nuclear capacity.
Yesterday, were you speaking on the president's behalf when you said he was not interested in regime change?
Well, Brett, what I said is the American military, that is not our mission as regime change. Our mission was to destroy the nuclear facilities and the nuclear program of Iran, which we, of course, did. I think what the president's also said is that the Iranian people want to make a decision about regime change. That's between the Iranian people and the regime. Of course, we support freedom fighters all around the world, but our mission was to destroy the nuclear facilities, and that's what we did.
So you don't think there's any mixed message when he goes to Truth Social and says it's not politically correct to use the term regime change? The current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again. Why wouldn't there be a regime change?
Well, I think what the president is saying very clearly, Brett, is if the Iranian people want to do something about their own leadership, that's up to the Iranian people. What the American national security interest here is very simple. It's to destroy the nuclear program. That's what we've done. And now that the 12-day war appears to be effectively over, we have an opportunity, I think, to restart a real peace process. And Brett, this is not...
I'm pausing him there because he's so full of shit, it's not even worth going on.
Thank you. I'm throwing up all over my phone.
Not cute. Trump might not be a politician, but J.D. Vance is. Well, he wasn't saying that. He was saying this when he was saying that. This while saying that, you know.
Excuse me, may I ask please a question?
Oh, hang on, Trump spokesperson is here. Welcome, Infinity. So what's the news on the ground, Infinity? What your boys telling us?
I'd like to ask Lisa a question because when I came in the room, she said something's not right about the ceasefire. I don't know what she means by that. I'm just asking.
Looking for an
That's exactly what she said.
You are the Lisa whisperer. What does she mean by that?
Just what she said is what she means.
I'll help you out, man, Finity. Look, what she's saying is right now, we haven't been able to confirm it from either government, right? We've heard it directly from Trump. We're looking from sources for them to come out and say, we are completely compliant, we are on board, we're surfing, we do not want to continue this war. There is a ceasefire in place that we are going to comply with. Thank you, President Trump. We're not finding that, sir.
Okay, so you're saying you're looking for an independent confirmation of what's.
We're looking for someone from like Netanyahu or someone like the supreme leader in the military for Iran to confirm what the president of the United States has been typing in all caps like a teenager on Reddit.
That's absolutely fair, but you can understand why you'd be happy or excited if this is actually the case, because this is great news, right? For the world.
Absolutely, but he's stating it as facts. That's the concern.
Sorry, say again?
Absolutely. Well, we were just talking about manifestation, and believe it or not, Manfinity, we're like, hey, we'll get behind Trump if he actually can pull this ceasefire off, of course, to an extent. We're all about manifesting peace and saving many, many, many innocent lives in Iran. But the problem, again, is that we're not getting any other official confirmation aside from Trump's Truth Social.
Right, and Trump is not to be trusted. You should never take anybody at their word. So I would agree. I think independent confirmation would be satisfying.
So why? No, hold on. Stop. We just had a breakthrough moment. I like to acknowledge that. Mr. Manfinity said Trump is not to be trusted, and then he caught himself.
Nobody is.
But I agree with you. Trump is not to be trusted, and I'm glad to see that you actually acknowledge and know that.
Nobody is to be taken at face value. No one should be taken at face value. Everybody should be fact-checked and triple-checked, because you never know. People can get things wrong. But I do know this. My experience with Trump is very rarely the case that he will be so unequivocal.
What experience you have with Trump?
This is hilarious.
He jerks over his picture every night.
I've been a constituent of Trump for 2 terms now, almost completion of 2 terms, and I rarely know him to be so unequivocal about something and it to be completely false, especially in tweet.
Unequivocal about something, and it's false. Okay, so did you actually read? And the word that you use, unequivocal, has nothing to do with what he actually printed out with his 2 fat thumbs. Is everything in here has holes in it? Is that? Do you know the definition of unequivocal?
Yes.
Okay, what is
unequivocal? When he's being unequivocal. He is being unequivocal.
Okay, so by him saying, okay, listen to this. So you obviously didn't read it, or maybe it didn't hit you the way it hit everyone else. Okay, Mr. Trump wrote. Officially, Mr. Trump wrote, this is coming, I'm reading this. This is what they call reading. I'm not inserting anything else into this. I'm reading it. So this is from sky.com. It's one of your friendly news stations that you guys like to look at, your MAGAs, or read, if you read or not. Mr. Trump wrote, officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. On the assumption, this is how unequivocal, if you guys know what the definition of unequivocal means. Now here it comes, right here. This is definitely not the definition of unequivocal. On the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will, I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, I don't even know why I use that word, it makes no sense, courage and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. I'm not finished. This war, I'm still quoting, this war could have gone on for years. Now remember what Manfinity said, unequivocal. This war should have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't. and never will. That's a quote. In an interview with Sky News partner, the president said it was a great day for the U.S. and the Middle East and a wonderful day for the world. Here's another quote. I am very happy to have been able to get the job done. A lot of people were dying and it was only going to get worse. It would have brought would have brought the whole Middle East down, he said. Mr. Trump said he thinks, unequivocally thinks, that the ceasefire is unlimited, he put that in quotes, and is going to last forever, and he put that in quotes, adding, I don't believe they will ever be shooting at each other again. Now that's the finish of his quotes. Does that sound like the definition of
unequivocal? But I read that it was a complete and total ceasefire. I read the one where he said the terms complete and total ceasefire.
That's just what she's reading. You just didn't read the rest. You just didn't read the rest.
So wonderful to have a dictionary right here on my.
But why do we keep acting like Iran hasn't confirmed they agreed? How come people keep skipping over that? I'm just curious.
Well, we just trying to get all the facts together, CEO. We working our way down from A to Z. We still working on.
Why can't we be questioning whether it's
because he's our president?
No, I'm not. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying the Iran part is confirmed. Israel is. You can say Israel isn't confirmed, but Iran is.
CEO, where are you getting that Iran is confirmed?
Didn't you all look at the links? Sky News, Reuters. We don't count Reuters anymore.
I will.
Reuters said
CEO. Hold up, CEO. I will concede and say that the Israel Times actually said that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that is literally breaking news. That is breaking news. Because half hour ago, I couldn't find anything.
45 minutes ago.
I'll take the good news.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
And then we're saying on the Israeli side, media is reporting that Netanyahu. It's not an official statement from Netanyahu, but there is some signs there as well.
What are the signs?
No, we haven't seen anything from Netanyahu. I've been very fair in this, CEO. You gotta admit that.
Okay,
but we haven't seen anything from Netanyahu. We haven't.
Dude, y'all killing me today, bro.
Thank you guys for coming to the 420. Well, we're going to get this shit straight. We're going to solve it. If Trump can't solve it, we can solve it. Just like we solved the murderer in Minnesota. We did it here in the 420. So we're going to get this
We're going to get it straight before they close the strait.
Hello. I love that.
Straight before they close the strait. I like that. Lisa, I got a question for you. Just a quick sidebar.
Yes.
Whatever happened with your bet with the gentleman running around loose with the face tattoos from prison? What happened with that?
I lost my bet.
Is he still loose?
Yeah.
Loose as a goose.
Someone's, yeah, whatever. Yo, Gemini, I was telling them that he has a lookalike that lives in Memphis, but he don't have any tattoos on the face, but he looks just like him.
Oh, that's what you was talking about when you said that earlier. Okay, that's what you was talking about. Got you.
Okay, so y'all, are we clear? Do I have to play another? And as of this moment, I thought they were shooting. Let me see if this is the correct, because this is from, what's the guy's name? Gloria Vanderbilt's son, who used to be on CNN. He's still on CNN, I think. The one with the white hair, Anderson Cooper. Let's see.
Did Anderson have to scatter and get in a bomb shelter somewhere?
Well, let me see, because right now, of course, he's Jewish though, right? I think he's over in Israel.
I have no idea what
certainly from the Iranian perspective, the desire, if I'm speculating here, obviously, is to put a line under it now and move on to the next phase.
I want to check on Fred Plankton. He is on the phone from Tehran. Fred, you've been monitoring Iranian state media, also the skies over Iran. Have there been any attacks from Israel in the skies? And also, what are you hearing from Iranian officials, whether through the media or directly?
There's actually ongoing attacks from the Israelis in the skies, at least
I'm sorry.
Why is that funny? How does it not align with what was said? How does it not align that was said? Read the statement.
Okay.
24 hours. It aligns.
Okay, that's what
it
I was
aligns.
asking. I was asking. So they got 24 hours to get their shit off. To make sure they can kill.
It's not a microwave. Patty explained it. This is not a microwave. You put the popcorn in and it's done after 3 minutes. That's not what this is.
Well, excuse me for my dunce cap. Sometimes it's a little too tight while I'm sitting over here in the corner. But I'm
That's
just
what
trying
they're
to
saying
learn.
it is.
I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn. So anyway, somebody who's over there is saying that Israel's still launching. So okay. So anybody else got anything to add or subtract?
It seems to me that they're training us to lie to each other.
Yeah, we'll know if there's a ceasefire once the stock market morning bell goes off Tuesday morning.
The markets are already up.
We already good on the
Crypto and stock is going up right now as we speak. That's a fact.
I hope we're all happy about this. I hope people aren't kicking themselves thinking, damn, I don't want Trump to get a win. Come on, y'all.
This is not even unique to Trump. Like, you think everything is about, this is about us as a people.
Yeah, you're idol worshiping infinity.
We have people in the military, unlike some people, I would never. I'm putting my own flesh and blood on the line for your Joker. A's, and you're telling me I hope I'm not trying to pretend like
I didn't mention your name, Lisa.
He thinks poorly of us because he
No, I'm taking it personally because you
I didn't
said
mention your name, so you
you
shouldn't
don't
take
have
it
to.
personally.
But you said you
I
made
did
me
not
feel
say
like that.
That's all I
You don't have to mention
You should
anyone's
join
name.
me in saying that.
You said I hope nobody, and nobody can include anyone on the stage.
No, it applies. If it don't apply, let it fly.
Man,
Oh, that's what
Felix
you just made up, though.
And MAGA thinks
If
that
it
everybody
don't apply, let
doesn't
it
fly. Okay.
Like they
in
like
other
Joe
words.
Biden being harmed, and they like all him having cancer and pretending he's in the crib. So they think everybody else acts like.
You just tell us what they do. That's all he was doing. He was telling us what they do.
No, y'all are mad that Trump got another win. Admit it.
Oh my God.
That's what you want. That's what you want for us to be.
Right now.
Manfinity, hold on. I didn't want to say this. Manfinity, look. We have family and friends that are in the military, and we reside in the United States, which means our best interest is aligned with Trump's, believe it or not. We do not want to see people die for no reason. We do not want to see us enter a war that's not beneficial to anybody and can lead to our death. I mean, not our death, but people that we love dying. It could negatively impact our economy, run the deficit up even further. It's the last thing that we want. You're making it a personal vendetta, like, oh, y'all just hate Trump so much that you just want to see people die. Like, that is not who we are, bro. That's Republicans.
That's not what I said.
That's who he wants us to
That's
be.
exactly what you
That's who he
What I'm
wants us
saying
to be.
is, I sense
That's who
that
he
there's
wants
such
us
a.
to be.
What I'm basically trying to say is.
No, you need a pause. You need a pause. You talk way too. No, we heard what you. And where is the ceasefire in Palestine? That's what Pastor said, and that is the next
You
topic.
need to apologize to all of us for thinking the worst.
I sense the Trump hatred in here. Won't allow you to see this clearly. That's all.
Oh my gosh, nobody.
See that?
Yeah,
See
you
that?
must hate.
You must
hate. For saying that dumb shit.
Worshiping a false idol.
Lost the picture, bro.
He's trying to center himself. That's all he's doing.
15 people yelling at one time.
You're being a beta's data. I didn't mean to call you names, but I'm just saying, bro. When are you gonna get off your knees?
Water. He wants the attention. Let's move on. Do we have another topic?
We're still on this topic.
This is a big distraction from Palestine and Gaza. So I think we should go full circle and talk about where is the ceasefire for all three.
I'm looking on here, and Vance, okay, I don't want to read this whole article, but it says that J.D. Vance expects Iran and Israel to keep shooting at each other until ceasefire goes into effect. Now, why is this safe? Because you can actually hit something that would change all our plans. You know, if we just keep on firing at each other and for the next, day or two, they said Tuesday sometime. What if you hit a hospital, or what if you hit a school? Well, I don't understand this, but...
Shit's stupid, but that's how it goes.
Okay, alright.
It's dumb as fuck, but that's how this...
maybe they want to make it look like there is a ceasefire, and then Iran does something dumb, and then they say, okay, look, they blew the ceasefire, we're going to go for it again, and so we go back. I don't know.
Israel's gonna annihilate Gaza during all this bullshit. That's what I.
Oh, okay. You gotta bring us back around the corner order, because I don't understand.
No, can we stay over that corner, please? Stay over that corner.
No, what are you talking about? We're talking about a ceasefire. Where was the ceasefire with Gaza and Palestine and Israel? It never happened. So Iran entered the chat, and they said, okay, uncle.
Okay, so Putin
What are you talking about, Water? You might have been high during that time, brother.
It's still going. They're still fighting them.
You know
what the fuck you're even talking about, Haitian? You need to shut the fuck up, fool. You're pissing me off
I'm
now.
upset right now.
Oh, what the hell was that?
Oh, shit, water and Haitian.
They fucking corralling these motherfuckers while they're trying to feed them with the humanitarian aid, and they're just mowing them down? Nah, dog. You ain't an American? You talking like that? Nah.
Water.
I just came back from smoking a blunt. Y'all alright? I just came back from smoking a blunt.
I'm gonna be good today.
What kind of shit are y'all on today right now? Like, what's going on?
If we're going to talk about war, we're going to talk about war.
Water, you know what the fuck you're talking about?
I ain't watering it down. I ain't fucking breastfeeding this dick.
You dumb. Yeah, you gotta keep it cool, Water. Let's go, Water.
Haitian, just ignore it.
Haitian, stop dropping people. You have mistakes all the time. You dropped water.
I didn't drop anybody. Water's right here.
Okay, relax your guys. The men's voices are at a higher octave. What's going on?
The energy of the planet.
Y'all hella violent tonight. Like, I don't know.
Okay, stay hella violent. It's good.
You need the woosah for real, Haitian. You about to give me an anxiety attack with all of that extra. Just
Water started it. Water was one of being aggressive for. No, I was being aggressive about Israel and Gaza. Y'all stop it. Stop it. Don't you attack my point. You attack my point. Do not attack me today. You feel me? Hold up. With your grandmother's lips. All right, love. One mic on Lisa.
On Lisa, thank you, Gemini.
Okay.
What's that altar saying?
Are the men? Are you guys good?
Altar got a nice voice.
I don't name call Haitian. He's too emotional for me. I don't know if it's for war. More to chill.
That's why I'm saying his name and then have things to move forward.
Just chill, Haitian, chill.
Go ahead, Lisa.
It's all love.
Small world, Water.
It's a small world out there.
Oh my God, you guys, not this. Not meet me outside. If we just end
Meet me outside. Meet me outside.
Oh, I ain't gonna meet me outside, but
I'm gonna call for Can we have a ceasefire and a 420?
That's what I was gonna say. Can Lisa?
Let me cook you
I did not say anything about meeting anybody outside. But sometimes you gotta let people know that you need to reach out and touch them. So, like you, Water, I know you're high school, but this is what, W and an high school? Water. You're very careful. You want to talk shit.
Relax with that. Relax.
Okay, so you guys, has anybody seen any information on Putin? Because I'm trying to pull this. It's too long. Putin World War III. Last and final warning, and this is live. And then I saw another one. You'd be surprised. The world is shocked by what Putin said. But I can't. Okay, Putin says Russia backs Ukraine. Oh, that's not it. Damn it. That's 3. Let me go here and find what I'm trying to find. But anyway, anybody got anything to add or subtract to this story? It's building and it's.
Yes.
So this is why. Okay, can I talk or? You want to go?
I just said go ahead, brother.
You good? All right.
Oh, I'm open.
So this is why. Shush.
This is why that's more important. This is, do it one more time. This is why.
Ultra, stop fucking doing that.
Breaking news.
So when
we got breaking news coming in. You guys, go ahead. Breaking news, please.
Trump has just launched a homophobic attack on Anderson Cooper. He's calling him out Allison Cooper, and she's questioning the validity of, we know for real that the sites were completely destroyed. He called him Allison Cooper, and he's calling the media now sleazebags. Yeah, that's your placement. Are you?
You mean he's calling Anderson Cooper, Allison Cooper?
Or Alice Cooper. Which one? Was that breaking news worthy? I don't know.
Yeah, I would think that that's a homophobic explorer. He's deliberately calling him Allison Cooper.
Can I speak now?
Okay, no, it was who was speaking before
I was trying to speak.
Go ahead, sir.
No worries. Good morning. First of all, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody having a wonderful day.
Who the fuck is that? What the hell is HK?
Yeah, it should have me fucked up too.
That's my actual nickname, so this is the real one.
I like black better. I like black.
That's crazy. I'll go back to black then. No, I'm fine. Anyway, so the reason why this is more important is that Iran had a lot more allies backing them and a lot more powerful allies backing them, right? Russia was ready to go. Like, they had it behind them. It's the same. They had one of the...
Did he was Russia today?
No, but he announced today. He said that...
They met with them on Sunday.
Sunday, okay, my bad.
But he said that he was willing to give them nukes. And so it's not the same as Gaza. And unfortunately, yes, Gaza is still experiencing death, right? But unfortunately, Palestine and Gaza did not have the backing that Iran has. They have Russia at their side. Russia's waiting. Russia's just waiting, right? Any excuse to come over here and start messing with U.S. bases already. And so it was more at stake, right? France got involved. France was getting really upset with our Israel because of what they did with the prisons. So this was closer to a World War III than we ever had gotten. So yes, this ceasefire was more important when it comes to priority versus the Gaza, but it was a ceasefire in Gaza as well. We have to start taking these small victories, right? We gotta start looking at these things and go, okay, this is good. Now let's work on the next one, right? Not going, oh well, fuck this because this happened over here. So what? This kid's dying in Africa right now. Across the world, there's wars happening that nobody's talking about. So if we want it to be what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We want to talk about Palestine, that's good because it's a popular thing right now. There's like 40 countries in Africa we can talk about right now that's going through the same problems right as we speak.
I think we should question everything.
I know you do.
Yeah, this man, he's a pathological liar. Literally, his mouth is moving most of the time is a lie. And I don't trust the legacy media. I listen to it, but I get my news from alternative media because they just, most of them just repeat and vomit up what he says when it comes to war. They rally around the flag, and it's Iraq all over again, and they don't question. Like, I'm not going to let anybody tell me what I can see and interpret myself.
So what do you see and interpret it?
I think
it's a really strange thing to compare to Iraq anymore after this evening. That's just a really strange comparison. Yeah. Like, can you line it up for me? Can you take me through the similarities? Was there a ceasefire with Iraq after, doing one strike? What was the similarity?
Did anybody ever introduce the weapons of mass destruction that Colin Powell and Judy Miller wrote about a million times in the New York Times? That everybody that pretty much went on legacy media said that we had to rally around the flag and there were weapons. Did we ever discover them?
No, you're right.
Was Iraq responsible for 9/11? I don't know. Maybe maybe my memory.
No, they weren't. You're absolutely correct. So now draw the comparison to Iran.
So my comparison is Tulsi Gabbard in March did a threat assessment in which she stated that Iran was not near to be making a nuclear bomb. That they did not have yes. And then Amy, which she's been saying, go watch the compilation that they came about from 1919 where he said every other year up to 2025 they were 2 weeks away,
I've been
6 months
making
away,
this talking point
1 year.
myself. you're not saying anything I disagree with yet.
You gonna let me get
It
there?
comes to tonight. I'm saying now, why are you still saying it aligns? You don't need to convince me of anything before today. I'm saying today, why?
All I am saying is, my simple fact, the statement was, I don't trust anything that comes out of Trump and his regime. I have a very healthy skepticism, is what I'm saying, until things are borne out. And that's from getting burned. And even if you don't want to go back to Iraq, he just already said he was going to give them 2 weeks. Did that occur? Before that, they were actually at their negotiating table. What do? They took out their head Iran negotiator, where they were trying to go towards diplomacy. So why should I trust wholeheartedly? He goes against his own people. He goes against Vance. He goes against Hextech. He makes Tulsi Gabbard bend the knee. I don't trust anything this man says until it's confirmed several times over.
Now you're making a different argument, which is fine. No. The argument you're making now is fine, but the comparison to Iraq now at this stage seems a little silly, because there was no ceasefire effort with Iraq. That's why it seems.
But no, Cyril, but you're missing the point. I'm not pulling the ceasefire. I'm saying I have a healthy skepticism as to whatever comes out of his mouth.
And you should, Levon, because now I'm reading. Okay, now he's in Anderson Cooper asked, because a lot of people are saying that they didn't really achieve what they said they achieved. Now I'm reading something from the ex-Russian president, I can't pronounce his last name, a close ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin. He's saying, what am I reading? Okay, he's saying that the U.S. strike on Iran, it failed to achieve its objectives. So I think the same thing too. Does anyone disagree?
No, I think we're all on the same page about that. That's not controversial. I don't think we
can I finish? Can I finish though? Because I'm going somewhere with this. Get in the car. Put your safety strap on. Let me turn on the gas station. So Netanyahu, and tell me if I'm wrong, CEO, said that he was not going to stop. I can go and pull these articles because they're everywhere. And audio, that he wasn't going to stop with Iran until the directive had been achieved, and that was to eliminate all of their nuclear, you can fill in whatever, because I don't know what they call it. Was that achieved or was it not?
It was not achieved. They just delayed it. They have delayed it. That's all they've done.
Oh, they delayed it. But did you hear what your president said?
He's lying. Yes. Okay. It is narrative. So so here's the thing. Here's the thing Here's the thing we have to come to terms with there. There is narrative creation, right? And narrative creation is separate from reality, right? So then you have to ask yourself, why is a narrative being created a certain way? I haven't heard anyone ask that question. But why is a narrative being structured that way? Do y'all want to dive into that part of the conversation?
Okay, so you take us there. So a narrative. Now we're talking about a narrative.
Yes.
This is crazy.
Okay, so here's the elements of a narrative. So Trump has to manage the MAGA base, right? And he has to look strong and all of this and that, right? Blah, blah, blah. So he does a strike because basically the strike ends up being the narrative that we have disarmed their nuclear program. Okay, so an objective has been attained, right? And then a lot of them don't want to have a war, so ceasefire, right? So two objectives, both sides of his base handled, right, with that. If you're Iran, you end up talking to Qatar and saying, hey, we're going to send you these missiles, this and that, y'all take care of it, y'all shoot them down, right? Because if you're Iran, you need to show that you've done something. And then after you shoot the missiles, you get to tell your people some story like, oh, yeah, we damaged a U.S. base, we'll never stand down to America, blah, 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 right? So that's the Iran part, okay? And then if you're Israel, we are disarming Iran, we're taking care of them, all this and that, right? So everyone has gotten the narrative they want, So you use those three narratives to get yourself out of this quagmire. So it requires three lies to stop one war. So that's what's happening here. Of course for lies, but it's the only way you get out of this. The alternative is you tell the truth and you keep going to war.
And as fucked up as it sounds, the CEO that said, I agree with him 100%. That's what it is. And it's to show everybody that we're nothing but fucking pawns, and it's a big game. You have fucking world leaders that Twitter fingers. And that's how they want to fucking. Yep.
I am from Iran. Is this a ping pong way of, or do I have to wait for my turn?
It's your turn. Go ahead.
Okay, I am a peace activist from Iran. I live in Colorado, United States, and I hope this so-called ceasefire lasts. That's one of the things that is the Dulles brothers. They killed Kennedy. Of course, they made a cover story for it in whatever, the Cuban whatever, or the mafia whatever. Within 3 months, Leonid Brezhnev of the Soviet Union began the coup against Nikita Khrushchev. 2 peace-seeking leaders were killed by their respective military-industrial complexes that were interdependent as enemies. The Cold War was a cash cow. So internal despotism and external colonialism are 2 sides of the same coin. In order to provide the cover or the justification for a racist, colonial, hegemonic military-industrial complex in this country and its hegemon, attack dog in Israel. And the Palestinians, they be genocided, and Trump says that they should be thrown out of Gaza, and the settler colonialists in the West Bank are killing and taking land because Israel does not want to play by the rules of the so-called, civilized world, the so-called civilized world. So right now there is some kind of a talk about some kind of a ceasefire. As a peace activist, I'd say yes to ceasefire, even though it may be built on some faith-saving ground.
Enough already.
Trent, can you come up? Because I know you have the real breaking news. We have Trent in the house. Everyone else, Trent is in the house. Thank you, Mojtabi.
Mojtaba or Moji.
Moji. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. You might be able to help us out. You might be able to help us out in a minute. Let me just play this for CEO. Do you run? Okay, listen to this, y'all.
I'm here.
I'm loving myself right now.
Refuses to be a victim of a nuclear holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. As Prime Minister, I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight, Israel backs those words with action.
Okay, so that's one. I have like about 5 different tapes of him saying that he will never stop until he is.
He's been saying that for 40 years, for 35 years.
But you're missing the context. You're missing the context. We're trying to say that something ain't right with this ceasefire. That's what we're talking about in the 420 tonight. That this ceasefire smells. It stinks. Something not right.
Well, my family in Iran is not going to be bombed as a result of the ceasefire. My family lives in Tehran.
Okay,
my family lives in Natanz.
Okay, so what we're saying, once again, there is something not, maybe I should use the word kosher about this ceasefire. That's what we're saying. We're doing investigative work in here right now. So, we have new people on the stage, just came up. Trenty, Michael, and anybody else. I would love to go to Trenty, because it seems like he has breaking news.
Before he speaks, I need to lead him in. This is TNN.
Oh, no, I say something. Goddamn, Mike. Ain't nothing feel better
Wow,
than that.
man, I love it.
Ain't nothing feel better than that. Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all looking beautiful. Diminal, you probably want to DM me about that Escalade if you really want it. I don't have any breaking news other than the ceasefire is in effect, and Iran and Mojaba, I don't know how to say your name, prayers to your family. Moji, prayers to your family, my friend. But Iran was just soundly defeated. They didn't have another choice. Their entire leadership was taken out. They eliminated probably 70% of their missile launchers.
Leadership?
Just about.
Okay, so
I mean,
use words. Don't try to sensationalize.
Okay, well, 90% of their leadership was eliminated within the first day, and they were just defeated. There was no other choice for them but to settle. They needed a way out of this. They don't really have, other than terrorism, they don't really have a good exit strategy.
Israel is a terrorist nation in the Middle East. Israel has been behind terrorism. Israel created Hamas. Did you know that?
Don't disagree with you, buddy.
Right. So the narrative of a defeat helps fan the flame of the regime in Iran to say, we don't want to be defeated, therefore we're going to lob whatever remaining missiles we have at Israel, and Israel will kill my family.
Yeah, I mean, I sympathize with you.
Think about the narrative that you are supporting.
Look, while I sympathize with you, and at some rate, my brother, I gotta call balls and strikes, right? Okay.
No, you don't need to. You don't need to by perpetuating a narrative of defeat.
Yeah, look. The Pacers.
That's a victor. That's a colonial genocidal victor. Is the writing of history.
Listen, the Pacers played the Thunder last night, and somebody scored more buckets, and now somebody gets the championship. What I'm telling you is, Iran didn't have.
You are perpetuating a narrative of loss, of either lose or loss, either win or lose. That narrative is genocidal. Don't perpetuate it.
You want this dude to talk over me, or you want to know? Y'all let me know when he's done fucking talking.
He's tired of you talking, Trent.
You're right there. You guys are having a back and forth.
I'm not going back and forth with anybody. You want to
okay, so tell him that you communicate well. We don't have to do that.
I am saying, as a peace activist, don't perpetuate a narrative of we won, and they lost.
Oh, he got a point there.
Give peace a chance.
If I speak, because I'll be real quick. I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm not going to go back and forth.
Say shit you said.
Here's what I'm saying. What is clear? Who's off mic?
Hey, you're off mic. Can somebody mute Haitian?
Okay, he's good.
Okay.
All right. So look, balls and strikes. Iran lost this 12-day war, 100%. They didn't have another choice but to settle. I do think they moved their nuclear weapons out of Fordo, or else we would have had radiation leaks. So I do think they moved
weapons out of Fordo.
Hold on, Moji. Let him land.
Don't perpetuate take Netanyahu's narrative of genocide.
Stop talking about bullshit.
Yeah, y'all gonna have to knock him down.
Yeah, Moji, because if you can't stay off mic while other people are talking,
Relax, Mojo.
Mojo, we have to put you.
Well, he keeps saying that Iran has nuclear weapons. Iran doesn't.
Okay, but you know, so why don't you tell him that he's wrong when he stops, okay?
I'm trying to get people, and it ain't working.
Can somebody, thank you. I don't know what is going on with you guys, the mics tonight. Okay, so can you go ahead and finish up, Trent, what you were saying?
Yeah, I didn't say that they had nuclear weapons. I said they moved their enriched uranium because if they hadn't...
No, you said they used...
You cannot stop interrupting him.
No, we put him down. We put him down. Go ahead.
You can bring him back up, and like I sympathize with the guy. He's got his family there. He's from Iran. It hits him differently. But I'm just giving you balls and strikes. If they hit their uranium, there would have been some sort of leak detected by the IEA. There was none. They covered the entrances with the dirt, and they'll be able to restart some of their program. They're probably going to be a year or so off, but they'll be able to enrich uranium once again. And figure something out. But
what's going to happen when they do that?
I don't know. But the truth.
Wait a minute. So you guys would so stop being all over the place. So in other words, they're going to start up in a year. Did y'all hear that?
I didn't say they're going. I mean, they could. Like they could. It's going to take them a year to rebuild. Just let me finish what I'm saying. The truth of the heart of the matter is, Iran didn't really have a choice. Their like I said, their leadership was taking out. There is a possibility that their regime, like Assad in Syria, that their regime could be overthrown. That is a real possibility for them. They really didn't have any choice but to have a ceasefire, or else their economy and everything else spirals out of control. So that's it.
So this was a big waste of time.
Yeah, there wasn't no great news.
One second. All jokes aside, I think everything he said is 100% accurate. Like, it's definitely accurate. There was nothing that was really truly accomplished here.
That's what I just said. It was a big waste of time.
So, Lisa, I know where you're going.
There is no victory.
But you got to look at it like this. Over these 33 years, Netanyahu has talked about Iran having a nuke. He hasn't attacked them every day of the 33 years, right? So he is not going to be able to engage at all for some long time period. They have to have a negotiation. He can't go to this shooting missiles at them anytime in the near future.
In other words, there is no victory. There's no strikes. Nothing happened.
The victory, the potential for victory is that you've reset the negotiation table, right? So Iran knows we're willing to do this, and so now they have to think about their program, and they're willing to negotiate differently. So it's a win if you end up getting a deal.
Iran's not negotiating at all.
We will see what Iran does over the next 60 days. I would be very surprised if there wasn't some sort of deal.
They're not, I get you. They're not spreading.
Trey, you've been speaking all tonight. You did say nuclear weapons, so he was definitely right. Then you changed it up. And now you just said in chat, Iran knows if they negotiate, they die.
I meant to say if they don't.
I know, man. You've been speaking.
Yeah, I've been drinking. If they don't negotiate,
You can't use that as an excuse anymore, Trent.
I know, right?
I'm actually walking my dog. I'm actually walking my dog outside.
He's like a Zionist.
Yeah, what? I'm not a Zionist. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Tony. I'm just giving you the truth, right? If they don't negotiate,
the truth is not barbarism. The truth is peace.
Hey, so listen, bro.
You are perpetuating barbarism.
So, what's the name?
No, truth is not the strength. Peace is the strength.
Yo,
peace is the strength.
Calm down. You know,
listen real quick.
One second. All you gotta just talk, bro. Don't yell. We're all speaking. Just speak, bro.
And respectfully, we understand that you have family over there, so no one's saying that we want to continue the war. saying what's going on.
No, what's going on is that peace is a strength.
Hold on. So
don't buy into the rule of the jungle.
Please let the moderator speak, Mo. Like, please let him speak, brother.
Listen, again, I understand you have family. I understand it, you know how you're feeling, right? But again, let people speak and they say your point. Educate the room.
Do it without pulling at us. Just speak. We'll listen.
We know you're passionate, but you don't have to yell for us, okay? You can speak.
Okay, I'm sorry that I am, because my family may already be dead, I am angry. But I don't want to live in a jungle.
Your family is not dead. There was no civilian casualty.
How do you know if my family is not dead? I don't know it.
Hey, we'll say this in the charge. How do you say your name so I can pronounce your name correctly?
Mojtaba or Moji. Moji is fine.
Is Mojtaba accurate?
Yeah, Mojtaba is fine.
Okay, Mojtaba, like, we definitely hope that is not the case with your family, and we'll keep them in our prayers. We are not with
well, but people in Gaza have been genocided. The Native Americans have been genocided. African Americans were enslaved.
No, we understand. That's
this
why
is the same barbarism.
We don't want that. We don't want. What I'm trying to tell you is
barbarism in the name of civilization.
I say we don't want that, but we're trying to have a discussion, and maybe you can give us some insight that we don't have because you have family over there. But when you yell and stuff like that, it kind of takes away from
Okay, I'm sorry if I am being truthful.
No, we don't mind the truth. We want to hear your truth. We want to hear it. We're just trying to hear it.
We can't, but let's be honest though. That little Trent dude was he's being a dickhead about they got smashed, they got a liberator, they got this. And y'all trying to pass over that.
Tony, you know that's how Trent is. He pisses us the fuck off. That's what Trent does.
Unfortunately, I like Trent, bro. I do.
Yeah, but I mean, we're picking and choosing on favoritism now. For favoritism, like choosing their words and shit like that.
I didn't hear what he said, honestly, but so
that's what I'm saying. Like, you can read the chat.
The thing is, Trent's not saying that out loud.
Okay, hold on.
You're not ran. This is somebody who experienced it.
Hold on. Okay, there's raised tensions. If Trent says something the other man doesn't like, that's fine. Tony, we're not trying to take sides here. I know people think we do 24/7, but Trent has to speak, he has to speak. Infinity has to speak, other people have to speak. And we all do have to learn how to listen, myself included. And so we're trying that. Yes, what he said, I'm not going to say that. What he said was insensitive.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's going to be Trent, and Trent can do what he wants to do about it, but let Moji...
Dave, don't ever talk about weapons ever again.
Who was that?
Who the fuck is Dave?
He's talking about the dude in the chat, because Dave in the chat said as long as...
Oh, yeah, keep that shit in the chat.
Keep the chat in the chat.
Keep that in the chat. The mods are the one that bring the chat on stage, not you. Don't...
Is it Tourette's Tuesday or something?
Okay, so who was speaking prior? Like, I think it was Mustafa. Like, do you want to go ahead and continue your share?
Yeah, basically what I'm saying is that we create the reality that we take for granted as being real. So when we say reality is that the victors have, over the history of civilization or barbarism, victors have written most of the narrative of history, which means that the more barbaric might makes right. Let's put it that way. That's how the history has been written. The history of oppression of women, history of racism, history of colonialism, history of genocide of the Native Americans, history of Islamophobia, history of real anti-Semitism in Europe, and every other form of barbarism. It has been written by people who believe that the only way to survive in this jungle of the world is to be savage. I am a peace activist. I'm a real civilized person. I'm a Sufi monk. I'm a dervish. So I don't want to buy into that barbarism narrative. I want a different history to be written.
Yeah, so
Therefore, when somebody says that the regime in Iran, of which I am no fan of, has lost, the regime says, "Oh, we don't want to be, losers." Therefore, they will then provoke Netanyahu to continue the genocide.
yeah, but it's always going to be, regardless, it's always going to be opinion in any type of conflict or war of winning and losing, right? That's just how
I don't understand what I'm saying is that your opinion makes history.
Let me finish. Okay? So, yes, I don't want the narrative of winners and losers in war. I've been to war. And if you've been in war, there is no fucking winners. But
I'm an associate member of Veterans for Peace in Iran. I'm a founder of the peace-seeking Iranian veterans.
That's good. So you should understand that.
But you also, like, to be fair, right? And you heard me in regards to your family overseas. You heard my response. So take that into context. I'm not trying to be negative or an antagonist at any level. But you have to admit that there's a portion of the Iranian government and their officials that are screaming death to the U.S., death, and saying how they would love to have
They've been doing it because they want to. The reason for the so-called death for the U.S. is as a result of the coup in 1953. The coup in 1953, which was done at the behest of oil companies with the help of the
we weren't even alive then. But we weren't even alive then.
I don't want to. The people in the U.S. do not have any right to dictate their fascistic culture onto the rest of the world.
There you go, baby. Plastic culture. Keep going. Tell them about the coup. Tell them about the
Mustaba, but look at it from a current.
Who caused the revolution in 1979?
Mustaba, you're probably historically accurate, and I'm not going to argue. Give me 1 second, Trent. I'm not going to argue those facts. I will concede to you being factually accurate about 1953. How about that? All right, so that we don't have a point of contention. What I'm saying is, if you look at the way it appears now, when people right now that had nothing to do with that at that point, are hearing
No. Hold on now. Let this man speak, because what he's trying to tell you is, the United States is also responsible for 1 million deaths of Iranians when we armed Saddam Hussein against his people and killed 1 million of them. Is that not right, Mo?
Absolutely. It is barbarism that is responsible. Barbarism pretends to be American, pretends to be Israeli, pretends Modi in India is perpetuating the Zionist narrative of Hindutva. Kill Muslims. Barbarism dresses as religion. Right now we have barbarism in the name of Christianity in this country. Called evangelical Christianity.
See, we agree. And let me help you on one thing, my brother. What these people refuse, some of these people, not all of them, what they refuse to understand it is the United States that supported the Shah, who was basically a brutal dictator, who was murdering your people in Iran, and we kept him in place for oil until others, the regime now overthrew him, right? That's correct. And then we turned and we armed Saddam Hussein in the 80s and had them perpetuate a war which killed 1 million Iranians. And then when Saddam, after the war was over and our politics changed a bit, we claimed that he had weapons of mass destruction and then invaded Iraq under false pretenses because we didn't like what he was doing. That's what really happened. So Mo, I completely agree with you on this, and this is what I'm gonna land on. The other thing that we should, and what I will not say is militarily we won Iraq, militarily we won Afghanistan, we lost the hearts and minds. But that's what happens when you have a nation that is willing to spend $950 billion a year arming its defense with its stealth technology and its badass aircraft carriers and its satellites and its missiles, but refuses to take care of its people and its healthcare and its structure and its cutting its education. So what we saw the other day with the stealth bombers was a masterful display of military might, the pinnacle of military power, possibly.
How about it was a masterful? Hey, brother, what? It was a masterful. It was a masterful. Wait, it was a masterful display of barbarism.
I know, I'm with you.
Call it barbarism.
Yes.
Don't glorify it.
It was a masterful display, only rivaled by the Roman legions and Genghis Khan. America is about all power.
Call it the way it is. Don't say military wonderful. Don't glorify barbarism.
Well, whatever. The people here that pay taxes and we support this 950 billion monstrosity. That's $37 trillion in debt. We may need to ask ourselves why, if we don't support war, why we pay taxes for such things. You guys have a good.
Thank you. The last part of what you said, Brother Trent, is what Bernie has been saying. I am a supporter of Bernie Sanders. But the culture of might makes right. The culture of barbarism is destroying Mother Earth. We are losing 3 species per hour.
Breaking news. I don't know where you guys are talking about right now, but Iran rejects Trump's ceasefire claim. Falsehood of truce will be shown in coming hours. This is coming off of CNN News 18. It's way too long. I'm trying to rewind it to that.
Where's
this is coming off of CNN News 18. It's streaming live now on YouTube, and I'm trying to rewind it so I can get to because it's a live stream, so I don't know if I missed him talking about it, but that's the headline. So
you're absolutely right. CNN is saying Iran rejected direct negotiations with the U.S. Not even the peace treaty. They rejected even having negotiations at all.
Direct negotiation is different. Direct negotiation is different than.
Moji, I had to mute you up, Moji. You gotta stop holding the mic. Let Lisa talk.
No, I mean, Moji, we get you, babe, and I appreciate you being here 100%. But you gotta all let us participate and not.
Okay, but let me say one sentence and I'll stop.
Okay.
Look, there is a difference between the Zionist propaganda wants to perpetuate Iranians as barbaric, dehumanize. So there is a difference between Iran's foreign minister saying that we don't negotiate directly with the U.S. That's one thing. The other one is a tacit agreement to some kind of a ceasefire. There are 2 different things. But the Zionist media perpetuates the narrative of savagery in order to keep the flames of war going.
One second. It says Iraqi emphasized that direct talks with the U.S. are off the table for now. The condition is explicit. Dialogue only after Israeli strikes stop.
Right, that's what I'm getting on this one too. And they're training shots right now, because I played it for you guys of somebody who was actually there looking at it, and they have live feed of it happening. If you go to YouTube and you want to watch these live feeds.
Don't you know anything about bombing your way to peace?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So basically, they're saying you can't keep slapping me in my face and saying I don't want to fight.
You know, you gotta sit there and take it, Gemini, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah. After you keep slapping me for 2 hours and I don't take it, then it's a ceasefire?
Yeah, it's a ceasefire.
Okay, got it.
Ceasefire, and they have 6 hours head start where you can't do anything. That's the Philly agreement. That makes no sense.
I just want to let Lisa, if you're done, August been asking the chat if you can get it.
Right before he does, I guess we can safely say that the manifestation failed drastically.
Incorrect. So, did you notice the language that's being used when it said we're not negotiating? Who did it say we're not negotiating with? Who did it say? Which country?
U.S.
Okay. Now, who was doing the talks with Iran about this ceasefire?
Qatar.
Correct. So, what Iran is trying to do is make sure that, like, oh, we're not just doing what the U.S. wants. Remember we talked about narrative control? This is part of that right now. You're witnessing it real time.
It's Trump because back
Mark my words. By the time we get to tomorrow, we'll hear about it's a ceasefire.
CEO, if you let me finish, CEO, if you let me finish, I was going to read this portion, which is going to be relevant and support what you're saying. It says they remain open to diplomacy via European intermediaries, but U.S.-Iran dialogue is paused under current circumstances. So there you go.
So, see, y'all want to jump and make something
Why do you
support your
worry
point
if
so
we
bad.
jump?
And don't say yours.
Why?
I literally just gave you data that supported what you said.
Yeah, no, not you, Gemini. Not you. I'm just saying that, like, it's just so weird. It's like,
yeah, but did
how
Trump not
quickly...
say that is Trump not the one that's blasted everywhere that he... Thank you. That he made the ceasefire.
Narrative.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Narrative. Good grief. Like, what more is y'all not understanding? Yes. It's not reality. It's narrative.
You didn't know the narrative.
It's to achieve an outcome.
Lisa just mentioned this.
Literally, it's been saying for hours that Qatar. It's even in the Reuters thing or whatever. There was multiple things that said like Iran and Qatar. Okay, so like,
why is Trump? If you let me, I will translate. Look, guys, if you let me, I will translate for you what BBC Persian has. It's a live coverage.
Go ahead, please.
BBC Persian.
Go ahead.
Okay.
And then obviously.
Let me see how many minutes ago this was. 3 minutes ago. Abbas Araghchi, Iran's foreign minister, said in a post in X, in whatever, the Twitter, he thanked the armed forces of the country and says the military operations of our powerful armed forces to punish, to bring some justice to Israel because of its its violation of Iran till the last minute. It continued our military operations till 4 a.m. Tehran time. At the same time, according to the witnesses, eyewitness people in Iran, as they told to BBC Persian, from about 4 a.m. in Tehran, there is no sound. The sound of explosions and anti-aircraft has been cut in the city, and there is no sound of conflict. That's live on BBC Persian as of 3 minutes ago.
Okay, now listen. I want y'all to realize.
That's good for my family.
Can you tell us what it means? Can you tell? No, I just want to get going. So you said like a lot. Can you just give us what that means? Can you tell us what that means?
Basically, what Iran's foreign minister is saying is that we have stopped attacking Israel, and Israel has stopped attacking Iran.
Okay, so now do you all have a reaction to this?
He said that very clearly. He said they don't hear the sound of airplanes dropping bombs anymore right now.
Okay, but I just wanted to be safe.
There is no sound.
That means that there has to be some truth to what Trump said, but it's not being broken.
Oh, it can't be true. Trump said it. It can't be true. No, it's just ridiculous.
Can I finish what I'm saying?
Do you think this may have something to do with the Gaza Strip? I'm just asking, because I'm looking at where we're at and what they're bombing, because, you know, United States is so far and we owe so much ocean that it's hard for people to launch missiles. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say, and then I'm out. I'm listening to everything because this is really interesting. But what makes it so hard for other countries to bomb the United States is because of our location, one, and then how far it is. It's hard for them to set ships into the ocean. In order to shoot bombs, you have to launch them from ships in the ocean.
Don't shoot bombs.
Well, whatever you do, if anybody want to take off from there, we good. I can just, that was a good, just like a feed, and then somebody else might want to pick up and take off from there, if you understood what I was saying. Go ahead, August.
One other line about Dr. Arachi and what he said, which you may be seeing is translation or mistranslation in the mass media in this country. He said there is no negotiated agreement at this point either about a ceasefire or about an agreement with the United States at this point. It means at this point there is only a ceasing of the fires on both sides.
Okay.
So you just
So that contradicts everything that Trump said right there. That portion.
August, go ahead, but you have 0 friends, so it's your throw. I got my trigger finger ready. Go ahead, August, how are you? And I think you're new to the app, the way you sound, so you hit the mic button on the bottom right. All right, August.
Can you hear me right now?
There you go.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry, man. I literally just got this app yesterday, so I don't know what I'm doing. My bad. First of all, I want to say God bless all of you and all your families. And I'm glad to hear that, obviously all of this bombing shit is not happening to us right now in this moment. Aside from Moji, I'm sorry to hear about your family, brother. I have respect for every human being on this planet. I'm not a disrespectful human being. Anything I'm about to say right now, I have absolutely no reason to offend anyone. But I just want to tell you guys a little bit of truth about what I know from all of my rabbit hole research, which true things I've learned and I've understood throughout since 2020 happened, you know what I mean? And everybody was like doubting the entire thing, you know what I mean? Like I've learned so much that it's almost like offensive to some, so I don't mean to offend anybody. So I think, Lisa, you were saying a little earlier, like you don't trust what Trump was saying, right? Was that you that was saying that?
I said it.
I thought it was Lisa that had said that. Did anybody remember?
Well, you can just put it on me because I definitely said it. So go ahead.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So the truth of the matter is this, and I don't know who's aware of what I know. I don't know who's aware of of this truthful information. So if I sound crazy, I apologize. I'm not trying to put out some shit that don't make sense.
Hey, bro, hold on real quick, bro, before you go.
Sure.
So, this information you give us, is this information like in black and white data? Or
like straight factual, bro. No made up, no storytelling. Yeah, absolutely. So, like when the whole 2020 thing hit, right? I started watching YouTube and I started seeing I was curious about the virus and what is this? Oh, it's China, oh, it's Fauci. And what's underneath certain YouTube videos, and I see people writing, I smell Bill Gates, I smell George Soros, and I'm like, what? What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? This is a normal human being. I'm just optimistic. I'm questioning what they're saying. I'm like, what does that mean, Bill Gates? Then I start doing research on Gates, and I find out that he owned vaccine companies since 1992. He was charged with Microsoft crimes in the late 90s by the Justice Department.
He was porn,
OnlyFans.
What does this have to do with the current conversation? If you got to
I apologize.
You want to go?
Let him go so he can get it over with.
I'm gonna get right to you. I'm gonna get right to your point. It's gonna lead to that if I just can have a minute. So, long story short, I find out that Gates is behind this entire thing, right? Then I start doing some more research, and then I start. What's that?
Haitian, please don't do
What's that? I didn't hear what he said. My bad.
Nothing. Keep going. Hurry up, please.
So then I start reading some more shit, and I start not just reading. I'm talking like deep documentaries. If you want to find out truth and information, it's not on YouTube. It's not on Google. You have to go to websites like BitChute, and BitChute will play shit that YouTube won't play. Right? So I'm doing like research, and I'm trying to figure out what's really going on, like who's behind what, right? And then I come to find out Donald Trump went broke back in the late 90s. I don't know if anybody knows that.
Yeah, and Russia bailed them out.
Casino.
He wrote about it in his book. He wrote about that.
No.
I'm gonna try to shut the fuck up so
No, you need to finish. I need to hear that shit.
We need to not hear y'all.
So somebody dropped him off? Wait, what happened?
I don't see him in the room. I don't know if he got booted out, but yeah.
Did all of his stuff disappear in the chat? Who would do that?
What's his name? Yeah, I think he was.
I didn't kick him if he was, dude.
I definitely didn't kick him.
I was playing a game on my phone.
Yeah, he was kicked. He was kicked out. He got it.
Black, you ain't taking this knowledge. You get it seriously, Black.
What was his name?
I want to say something.
He was all
God damn it. So,
Okay, so
I'm speaking. Can I
wait,
speak?
hold on, Brooklyn.
Can I say
on my
something?
stage. Hold on for 1 fucking minute. Who kicked August?
Stand on it if you did that shit, man. Just say you did it.
You know, okay, so when I find out who's doing this shit and don't want to say nothing, I'm promising on everything. You can just forget it. Because I've asked. You can hit me in the back if you don't want to say it on the stage. But you guys don't even know why would you do that? What was the problem?
He might have kicked himself, Lisa. He new to the app.
But JD look, Brooklyn, I'm not at my phone. I'm not here to babysit nobody, right? I work today with my fucking boot on. And then I come in here, I'm just asking, who would kick August? And all you gotta do, if you don't want to say it on the stage, you can hit me in my back channel and let me know. But JD said all his stuff disappeared in the chat. Now, doesn't that mean he was kicked?
If he ain't in the chat anymore, he was kicked. JD, he was commenting in the chat before?
He looked like he was being crazy.
Asking in the chat to bring him up, so he said he was new to the app. He like, how can I speak? So I was explaining to him in chat, that I sent him the invite so he can get up, and then that's why I was telling him, hit your, because it didn't seem like he knew how to get off mic, but no, we was chatting, yeah. But then when I saw him on Zero, his friends like, oh no, this can't go be up.
Yeah, he was mad respectful though too, so I don't understand what with it. Like he wasn't going crazy or nothing.
I know. I mean, you take some things to a little bit way too far. We got the room open. This is a touchy subject. If your nerves can't handle these type of subjects, don't come to the 420. Because it makes it hard for us to curate a space and get people talking while you're on silent and kicking everybody that's talking. You know what I mean? It takes a lot to do this. If I work all day and come in here and curate a space, at least let the space. But if you feel in your heart that you cannot hear something that somebody else is saying and you feel you have to fully remove them from the room and change the flow and the temperature of the room, just delete yourself first and then come back later when you can it's more palatable for your taste. That's all we ask. I was listening to this dude trying to cook my steak, and then all of a sudden it was nothing. It was air. All right, go ahead. Now watch what happens after this. Go ahead. Go ahead. What you guys?
Or y'all can drop me if you want to. Whoever the fuck is the ghost dropper. But I just want to say to you nigga mods that just insist on being mods, could y'all please shut the fuck up when people are talking? Cause that all them ad-libs you add to the frustration, I be wanting that shit to be over with, and you prolong it with the extra shit. Please and thank you, as an audience member.
Better pull up the BK. Have a dual working.
I want to hear where the fuck he was going with it, because I still don't understand the direction that he was going.
Where can I find it?
Well, it's too late. We gotta move on. Now, what? That ship is out. What's next? Y'all lucky I'm not a mod. I would never want to be a mod.
Brooklyn,
Don't
exactly what I said.
Don't do that.
Happened. Now it's silent. So the
whoever did it should speak up.
That's some real whole shit.
Start the conversation.
The fact that he was about to educate us too.
We don't know if he's about to educate us, but I want to hear him finish his thought.
Brought him up while you were
Hey, Haitian, do you have a conversation now?
What's that?
Do you have a conversation now?
Do I have a conversation?
I have an announcement about a.
Hold on. Do you?
I'm just asking, brother.
And I'm asking you, do you?
Whatever you want to talk about.
Why the fuck you addressing me? Let's talk about that.
Why are you so hostile, bro?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get back to the topic. What were we talking about just a minute ago?
Okay, regarding Iran, folks, I have a bilingual, binational town hall on Wednesday, 3 p.m. at, in here in Clubhouse. 3 p.m. Wednesday. It's and the guest that I'm going to be interviewing is one of the leaders of Massachusetts Peace Action. So I wish I could, if you guys could send me an email, I can put my email in the chat, and I'll send you the announcement that you can also come on Zoom. It's a simulcast between Clubhouse, so that people inside Iran can speak, and with Zoom in the United States. So if you're interested, I will put my email, moji.aga@gmail.com. Send me an email, and I'll send you the moderator the announcement for this. But if you can't do it and you only have access to Clubhouse, 3 p.m. Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. And,
3 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. Y'all keep that in mind. It sounds like an interesting spot.
And the name of the house is called Iranian Nonviolence, and the room it's called Peace-Seeking Iranian Veterans. That's the organizer. I am the founder of Peace-Seeking Iranian Veterans, as well as Iranian Nonviolence Project. And we are hosting. This is our 17th binational bilingual town hall, in which I invite leaders of American civil society groups to come and talk. And it just happens that on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, our guest is Paul Shannon, who is one of the most experienced peace activists, has worked for the American Friends Services Committee, and is a leader of the Middle East working group at the Massachusetts Peace Action. And if you Google Moji Aga, which is my first name and last name, as you can see, then you'll see my background. But if one of you sends me an email at the email address that I just put in the chat, I'll send you the full announcement.
Thank you for that, Moji.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry that I was speaking my heart, and I am so glad that whatever the mechanism that has brought the guns being silenced. I am sick and tired of living under oppression, under violence, under barbarism in the name of civilization. So thank you for having a civilized room, although it gets heated, that's normal. And I'm sorry if my tone of voice caused some people, distress, but we need to unglorify violence.
We appreciate you. We're trying to let you speak your mind, speak your piece, and everything. We just try to keep a little bit of order. I'm following you. If you can follow me back, and also go to the top and hit join.
I am too old for following this and following back because I can't keep track of the clubhouse changes its rules every day.
You are not too old to scroll up top and follow the house, bro. You tripping.
No, it just says join in blue. Just press that, and then you'll automatically be part of the house, so you don't have to look for us, okay?
You can promote your house here, but you can't scroll up and follow the house.
Yeah, we allow promotion of people's
Anyhow, if you send me an email, I'll send you the announcement for the Wednesday bilingual, binational people. Hopefully people inside Iran are going to be connected back to the internet so that we can have the leader, the inside Iran.
I shot him. If I do it, I'll tell y'all I did it. I did it.
Why do you do that? He wasn't.
Because he's not joining the house and he's promoting his house. That's disrespectful.
She allows them to do that, Gemini.
Okay, well, I did it. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was me.
Okay, y'all.
Yeah, brush that off when he asked.
Yeah, it's this is Clubhouse, you guys. Let me tell you one thing about me and Clubhouse. This is an app with little circles with people's faces in it. Sometimes I don't even know if it's the real faces, but that's all it is to me. I try my hardest not to take things personal on this app. Since I am here to hear people speak, that's why I logged on. Otherwise, I could be on SiriusXM, Urban View 126, listening to people make sense. But I'm not. I prefer to be here with you guys. So I don't take this shit seriously. If he doesn't want to join the club, it's no big deal to me because I don't think I'm going to the thing on Wednesday. But if anybody wants to go here, y'all are adults. You're welcome to do whatever you do. Do you? So I'm going to try to get us back on track here. I'm also losing my guest that I wanted to have come in.
I was about to ask you what happened with that.
Yeah, this has turned into a nightmare. I got to get her to eat. If she doesn't want to download Clubhouse, I can see why. I can get her to maybe talk on 2 separate lines, but then that means I'll have to use my daughter's phone, and it's going to be kind of hard because I told her I wanted to take questions. So she's really looking to talk to the person who asked me for a name, and I really don't want him in my room. Not right now, because I haven't eaten, I haven't hydrated, haven't had water all day, so I'm not in the mood for that particular person. And those who know who I'm talking about know who I'm talking about. But I'm still trying to get her in here so we can at least dialogue with her. So, you guys are not making me feel comfortable with all this shooting people and dropping people, all this other kind of stuff that I feel like, wow. So let me get us back on track because there's a lot of interesting things happening while we're in here talking. It seems like this deal is not as solid as we thought it is. So let me try to play this one.
Miss Patty, the gentleman said he's going to send you an email. He can send an email, but he can't follow the club, follow us. It's called press your finger on the screen, brother.
Yeah, but why are y'all... Wait. Now, come on now. I looked at his profile, and you can see that he's trying to create house after house after house. So then, in my mind, it's like, okay, he doesn't know how to even create a house. Like, y'all, come on, man.
Yeah, and why are y'all getting more offended than the person who started this case, Lisa? That doesn't make...
If you guys can look at his bio, put it translated, you see what he's saying. He's active.
Yeah, this is kind of weird. Like, he's activated. He's trying to do stuff for his people. I don't know. This y'all wrong. So
No, I just, Patty, like I said before, what I do all day
doesn't involve a lot of conflict and arguing and going back and forth and disrespect. So when I try to leave my job, I try to leave the way I came, because when I go to work, I can't take this with me. I can't take the way we comport ourselves on Clubhouse. I can't do that. So, and sometimes I don't feel like the boomerang effect where I come on here and gotta be a straight bitch. I just don't. So I'm doing what I feel comfortable in my own skin, and that's trying to be nice to people and treat them the way I want to be treated. It might not happen that way all the time, and so be it. I'm not going to even fight with that. But I just want us to be able to hear people out. Everything that someone's going to say to you, you're not going to like. I worked with MAGAs the other day, and I actually dig them. I mean, I don't like those two guys. I sent you pictures of them. I let you talk to them and let you guys know. And they said they voted for Trump. These are young men in the Air Force. Today, I'm working with my patient was Russian, but my scrub person was from Ukraine. I have to be able to sit in those environments with no windows the case started at 7. We didn't get finished till 7. I have to be able to sit in those environments with those people. If I acted the way you guys act, I would fucking have a stroke and lose my mind. And we talk about this shit. We talk. So, you know what I mean? So try to, let people express themselves for who they are. If you don't like it, like I said, the best thing to do, either do like me, put your phone down, walk away, come back in 2 more minutes and see if they're still talking, or either excuse yourself and then come back when you think you're fit to be in the conversation.
But
that's it. It's real simple.
Did the Ukrainian cuss about the Russian the whole time he was...
They're 2 different people. The Ukrainian was from, he said he knew how to read, which is really interesting, because one of the other people in the room said, you don't speak Russian, but you can read it. So we went back and forth, and, everybody got their shit to say about whatever. But no, I mean, everybody's cool. Everybody was cool. It's a good room. Okay, so let me play this. Maybe this will get us back to where we were. And this is okay, so has anybody else seen any other news, any breaking news about this deal? Because I don't think it's not what Trump said it was. Can we just start that as the working premise of the conversation? It's not what Trump is trying to sell you. So let me play this and maybe we can get back on track.
HEU, the highly enriched uranium, I don't know where it is. Maybe U.S. intelligence does, but it's really confusing. And we cannot
connected to Mrs. IMAC
on nuclear program into 0. There's knowledge, so we need negotiations that are serious. There are steps ahead, and that's what I would be counseling the president on.
On the air tonight, we do have breaking news as President Trump says there is a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Iran. And for the moment, as we are coming on the air right now, missiles are continuing to be fired back and forth as we are watching all of this very closely, because this could, of course, be a potentially major development. A diplomat who was briefed on the talks tells CNN that Iran has agreed to the deal, and a White House official tells us Israel has agreed on the condition that Iran stop its strikes. We have not yet heard anything officially from the Israelis. We just got an update from the Iranians. I'm going to read to you in a moment. But the backstory here is this. President Trump wrote on Truth Social at 6:02 Eastern tonight, quote, "It has been fully agreed to by and between Israel and Iran. There will be a complete and total ceasefire." There was a flurry of activity at the White House before that post went out today. Officials had been rushing back and forth to the Situation Room to monitor the latest on the ground as Iran was retaliating. And a source tells us that President Trump was on the phone with both the Israeli Prime Minister and the Emir of Qatar today. The president asked Qatar to work on persuading Iran to get to this agreement, as the Vice President, J.D. Vance, was coordinating with the Qatari Prime Minister. All of this was playing out just before the Vice President appeared on TV tonight.
We were actually working on that just as I left the White House to come over here, so that's good news that the president was able to get that across the finish line. Iran is incapable of building a nuclear weapon with the equipment they have because we destroyed it.
That's what the Vice President had to say as this was being brokered. He said shortly before he appeared on television. And as far as how all of this is expected to go down, according to the president, He laid out a bit of a complicated phasing and process earlier tonight, writing officially Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire.
Okay, and down on the ticker of this is CNN, as you can hear. Iran said there is no ceasefire deal.
Hey, Lisa, there's reports showing that Iran just shot missiles now.
Yeah, I'm watching. If you, like I said, if you guys go, no. I want you guys. You're right. You're absolutely right, JD. If you guys go on to YouTube, there are a couple of sites that are showing. They have no words, and they just have stuff at the bottom. They'll show you active strikes that are going on.
Get CEO's ass back in here.
Hey, I did want to say this. We haven't talked about NATO and the EU, the European leaders, and they said that they're actively seeking to de-escalate the situation through diplomatic channels, urging Iran to consider its stance and engage in negotiations. The international community remains focused on preventing further conflict and promoting stability in the region. But they're also saying that the EU's position is a lot different than NATO. NATO is saying that we'll offer support, basically cautious support, under certain conditions because they're concerned about the nuclear capabilities of Iran as well. And the EU is just saying de-escalate. They're being an advocate for diplomacy, and that's where they are. And they all had a meeting today in regards to what's happening. They had a meeting in Hague. So there's that.
I was talking about earlier, this is the typical phases of a ceasefire. So number one, you're going to have immediate cessation, right? Then you're going to have your stand-down orders. Then you got to do your verification and monitoring, and that's going to be like the UN that steps in, or another neutral country, like Qatar, right? So they're working with Qatar, and they're going to have to monitor both sides. Make sure that drones, satellites, on-the-ground observers, whoever's in the fight, certain things are, no new attacks is happening, right? So then you're going to have, like, humanitarian personnel have to come in. It may be a Red Cross. It can be someone that the UN provides, and then it's going to be the diplomatic talks. And when you do the diplomatic talks, that's when they come to their long-term de-escalation plan. And doing those de-escalation plans, that's going to be whatever they're going to have as security guarantees. We were talking about this earlier. Like, it's not someone broke a ceasefire. This is a phased ceasefire. You got to remember that nobody trusts each other. Israel and Iran are not going to trust each other. That's why they said within 48 hours. If y'all paid attention to the some of these articles, it says when someone said it was 12 hours and then they said 24 hours for Iran, it's because Israel is saying, I don't trust them. And Iran's saying the same.
Because Iran is going to be in a different place than it was.
You know, it's interesting that any type of ceasefire that Iran or anybody who's opposing Israel is going to adhere to is at the detriment of that party. I just go back to the point where there was a ceasefire with Hamas and that didn't happen. There was a ceasefire with Lebanon and that didn't happen. There was a ceasefire with Gaza and that didn't happen. So it's hard for me to kind of see how Iran would be like, let me adhere to this because I can trust you guys. And clearly, there has been a violation at every opportunity. So I am hoping facts has told me something completely different.
So where was the violation if it's a phased? Because during phased ceasefire, the only thing that gets paused is heavy attacks. They're going to continue to fight until they get their stand-down order. So I'm kind of confused. There's no violation right now.
Well, yes, correct. Right now, so, but I'm just saying, other countries have had a ceasefire with them, and Israel has went against it. So it's hard for me to kind of not see them being in a very defensive position. Because within 2 weeks they may just fire back again. I don't know.
So if they fire back again, that means that their whatever conversations are being had, because you know they're gonna have to. So with phase ceasefire, you stop, like you stop. The heavy attacks stop, or they put a pause on them. But that doesn't mean they stop fighting. What has to happen is diplomacy. Now, if certain criteria isn't met on one side or the other side, then guess what? There's no ceasefire. It's not going to end. That's why it's called phase.
Announced that we have found through intelligence a secret facility named Porto. The IAEA.
Okay, so as of 4 minutes ago, I'm understanding everything. I'm just bringing you guys the news. As of 4 minutes ago, sirens sound in Israel as military says is that it has identified missiles launched from Iran. The Israeli military said it has identified missiles launched toward Israel from Iran and that its defense system was activated. A short while ago, a siren sounded in several areas across Israel. Okay, got that. The alert comes after Iran's foreign minister hinted hostilities may have ended and that Iran would halt its military response if Israel stopped its strikes on Iran by 4 a.m. local time Tehran. It is now shortly before 6 a.m. in Iran. So I guess it did, well, I don't know, but there you go. That's just the news. I don't want to add anything to it. Anybody want to comment on that, add or subtract?
Maybe not well tested, maybe not tested at all.
Well, can I ask a question? Is there a reason why Iran needs to stop firing first and then Israel? Because maybe I missed out, I'm coming back in, I have my...
I peeped that. I don't know. I brought that same thing up. I don't know.
That's
Anybody know?
Something that's a conversation between the Qatari government and maybe the United States. Because obviously Iran is not going to trust the U.S. or Israel. And that's why the prince is talking back and forth. He's being the mediator.
He said, together with all Iranians, I think our brave armed forces who remain ready to defend our dear country until their last drop of blood.
Iran has to stop first because they are defeated. They lost the war. It's as easy as that. Like Qatar, what they did to Qatar was an unforgivable sin, because Qatar helps Iran a lot financially and also diplomatically. So when they hit them today, it was to be honest, that's how I see it. Iran was defeated when America entered the war. When they bombed the nuclear reactors, they were defeated. And all what happened after that was just like, when you slaughter an animal, they start moving a lot. But this movement doesn't mean they're still alive. No, that means the life is coming to an end.
What? Anybody want to add or subtract to that statement? Maybe
why you have all the crazies coming out at this time?
No, I'm not crazy. I'm from... Hold on. No, hold on, guys. I'm from the Middle East. I know, maybe I know more than you. I'm not saying I know a lot, but I know more than you. And,
okay, go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, seriously, I'm serious about that. Look, Iran is...
Where you from? Are you from, where you from?
From the Middle East.
Iran?
No, not from Iran. I'm Arab.
Oh, okay.
So you're saying that the animal is mortally wounded and it's moving it's getting its lab death throes before it dies.
Exactly. That's what Iran did after America hit them that hard, because they were protecting their nuclear power, right? They have no nuclear power anymore. What would they?
And money. If you hit a nuclear installment, isn't there some type of like I don't know, release of nuclear material maybe? Or just all like encapsulates itself into some protective egg and disappears? Isn't there some type of come on stage, just like a
uranium residue.
Yeah, how do you know?
Radioactive residue. It will be some type of residue.
Radiation.
Yes, we're asking about it. So Lisa, Cy Hirsch, who is well known from reporting back in Watergate, he forecast this, if anybody knows who Cy Hirsch was, over the weekend that Trump was going to strike from his insiders. So I'm not saying that Iran did not see this coming, because that was publicized with Cy Hirsch's report. I read it, and he said there were war plans drawn up and they're going to strike on the weekend. So I have to think, do you really think that they would have not moved some of that enriched uranium? And I'm not saying that they haven't gotten all of them, but there's no report by any IAEA or any other nuclear civil bodies that can say with some degree of certainty that that program was obliterated. And maybe there were setbacks, they probably were, but Iran has a lot of bright nuclear students in their university. It's a very well-educated population. That information is common. It's not like it's hard to replicate again. They have the know-how, they have the manpower. So they're set back, but to say it's obliterated, no, I'm not buying that. But I'm a skeptic.
And to take it a step further, the United States has a technology that will let us know if we actually truly obliterated it. Like, it would be known. We'd be able to definitively say, yes, we did. And we're not saying that. We're saying that we crippled them, they're not capable of utilizing it, but we're not saying that we obliterated it.
Okay, so
I think Trump said that. Sorry.
J.D. Vance definitely did.
Guys, what we did to Iran wasn't like a heroic thing. It's just, Iran lost a lot. And since they lost Hezbollah in Lebanon and then Syria, Iraq is already somehow controlled by the US. So the head of the snake, which is Iran, was already alone. So this is what I understood from what happened during the last 8-9 months, maybe more a little, since September 2024. So Iran found itself alone. No Syria.
With Pakistan, China, North Korea, and Russia.
No.
All alone.
Russia is already sinking in Ukraine. But China is already hurt with the tariffs. North Korea. Do you think North Korea can do? North Korea can be dangerous if you touch it itself.
But Amy, you're in the wrong room. When you say things, we're gonna push back because we in this room. Check it out. We do something called research, and I'm here in front of 3 terminals and an iPad and a phone. So usually when you say something, I'm gonna if I don't know, like you said, I don't know what you know, I don't know as much as you know, but I can read, right?
Sure.
I graduated from college. So my parents won't feel that they wasted all their money, I try to rely on some of the skills that I learned in that
place called college.
Yeah, please do it.
So we know from yesterday that and the day before, and I think the day before that Pakistan, is it North or South Korea? Because I have to go back and look at my notes.
North Korea.
Okay, China, and I'm sorry, Russia. So we're talking about nuclear powers, and Russia said that it was going to give Iran a nuclear weapon if they had to. That's everywhere. Go Google it. It's everywhere.
Okay.
But
look,
I kind of agree with him though.
I'm listening. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just adding to what I know. I'm not saying I know anything. I'm just adding what I read.
So that is true. They did say that, but Russia and China still didn't intervene. And then you got to look at what happened when it comes to Abraham Accords. During the Abraham Accords, that was a way of isolating Iran. So like now you got you got the Middle East coming together along with Israel, and if you actually look at it, it was to condemn Iran, and it was to not support them. It was a trade agreement. While people think it's a peace agreement, if you actually read it, it was about trade. So
look,
he is right.
Look, guys, it's the Middle East is like a very complicated puzzle. Like what you see as an enemy, maybe they are doing a favor to the U.S. So, look, China. You mentioned China. We go one by one. Actually, you said Russia. Russia is the easiest one. They are sinking in Ukraine. They are sinking. They actually need help. They cannot provide help. So Russia, put it away. China, actually, they want a strong Iran, but they don't want a too strong Iran. They don't want it to be strong too much, because if Iran feels they are able to close the Strait of Hormuz, that's gonna hurt China a lot. Maybe 40% of their of the oil comes from the Strait of Hormuz. So they don't want Iran to be strong enough to do that. Okay, so they cannot help her that much, and they need Iran. In the same time, they need a strong Iran, but strong enough just to cause some trouble to the U.S., but not too much. They want it to be strong for a longer term, so the U.S. will focus more on the Middle East rather than the Far East. Because if the U.S. get rid of Iran, and Iran gets into the I'd say it like obey to the U.S., that will be really bad to China, because they're gonna focus on the Taiwan and what's going on in the Far East. So they don't want it. They don't want the U.S. to get rid of the Iran, and as I said, they don't want Iran to be too strong. So this is China. Forget about it. North Korea is, yes, they have nuclear power or nuclear weapons, but only enough to defend themselves. They cannot provide nuclear to Iran. And other than nuclear weapons, they don't have a big industry in weapons in general. No, they don't. So put North Korea away. You said Pakistan. Pakistan is, yes, they can defend themselves and they do good in wars, but they cannot be involved in other wars. They are too poor. They can barely feed themselves. Pakistan relies a lot on Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia doesn't like Iran. So even if Pakistan want to help Iran, Saudi Arabia will prevent that from happening. Iran is isolated, guys. It is isolated. And This is my understanding, and you said you are in the wrong room. No, actually, I'm in the right room. You're very respectful, and I appreciate that.
I want to ask you one thing when you're done.
Yes, I'll be done in a second. Iran wanted to give away their nuclear power or their nuclear program, but they didn't want to do it in an easy way. They wanted like a scene, a show for that. So, okay, let's do some, bomb us, and we're gonna bomb you, and then we say, okay, we're in a deal. Can you believe that America bombs 3 nuclear sites in Iran, and then they launch 2 missiles, hurt nothing, even dogs, they weren't hurt. And then you say, okay, let's do a peace agreement. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Even with your neighbor, you cannot do that. If you fight with your neighbor, you fight with them, and you fight them for a little longer. Do you know? Iran said, okay, let's do a peace agreement. Okay, I'm done, sir. Go ahead.
I think the reason why people don't want to fight, they don't want to kill people, or just
wanted to ask you,
people are tired of refugees.
Asking a question. Hold on.
People are tired of refugees, but that's it. I'm done.
So my question to you is, you said Saudi Arabia will try to stop Pakistan if they went in and help Iran. How so?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you clearly. Say again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
No, I said you stated earlier that Saudi Arabia will try to stop Pakistan if they went and helped Iran. So I'm asking you, how so? How do you feel? In what way would they stop them?
Yes. So Pakistan relies on financial aid from Saudi Arabia and from the Gulf states in general, like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Bahrain. All these countries provide to the Pakistani economy, and they sometimes give away money to this country, but they're all Muslims, and they are like from the same the same sect, like Sunni Muslims. Yeah, Sunni Muslims. This is the first reason, and also there is a lot of Pakistani people, like Pakistan. They send their people to work in the Arab countries like Saudi Arabia, and when I say like millions, maybe more than 10 millions, 20 millions, I don't know how, like the exact number, but it's like a huge number of people move from Pakistan to the Arab countries, and these people, they help their country with billions of dollars. So Pakistan, if these countries want to hurt Pakistan economically, I'm telling you, they're gonna starve. They're gonna starve.
So what you were talking, I looked it up and you're correct. So thank you for your explanation.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir.
I've been waiting for somebody to come in and talk about the ally.
I'm curious too. Like, let me ask a question. Do you think that if the United States destroyed places where a large number of people are, right, that we're looking at another situation that came out of Iraq and Syria, which was just a bunch of refugees saying, I can't live here anymore, I gotta go somewhere else. And then they start going to Europe, which is, I think at this point, for a lot of Europeans, they're not as tolerant as they were before taking refugees, I think that might be also in the calculus in this. You want to disrupt them, but you don't want to put them in a place where they're so desolate that they want to migrate and go to somewhere else, because nobody is tolerant right now, or extremely less tolerant
as they were before, of having refugees from war-torn countries. Any comments?
I agree. And not only Iranian people would move to like as refugees to Europe. Actually, all the countries surrounding it, like people from there, gonna move to Europe. And as you said, the Europeans wouldn't tolerate that anymore. Good point, my man.
Just saying, it's a hot mess, but hopefully we can just stop. Damage is done. Okay, we get it. Come to the table, talk. Let's see how long it lasts. It just needs to stop.
I don't know. I think a lot of details are still mixed into these things with ceasefire. I hope to hear more details about how they're going to rein in Iran and their ability to enrich uranium, because that was the preference allegedly for the strikes in the first place. And if they haven't, because I don't believe they've obliterated that. I don't care what they said. I don't believe that they've obliterated their capacity to enrich uranium, or that they've obliterated the amounts that they have. And until they solve their problem, that this is not going to stop. You might have short bursts of ceasefire, but like anything, if it does again, it's going to stop again.
Can I add one more observation? I thought that the initial idea of nuclear facilities was for power, right? And so even if they were using it for 2 or more different purposes, and now that these facilities are now damaged, is there a indication that it is just disrupting their energy grid, or are they living off of power from a different source outside of these nuclear facilities that were initially intended for energy use? Am I asking the wrong question? I don't know, man.
No, say it again.
So I thought that the initial kind of idea of having these nuclear facilities was to generate power, right? But they were saying, hey, okay, you can do this for power, but don't be enriching stuff further that could potentially turn into a nuclear weapon. So I thought the narrative was like, just doing this for power, and if that's true, then if we have a disruption in these nuclear facilities, do we have a disruption in their power grid? And is that reflective in maybe some cities having power outages or not being powered? That's what I want to kind of understand.
No, Iran, according to my understanding, Iran doesn't rely on nuclear power to generate electricity, and they have a lot of oil. When I say a lot, they can pour 3 to 5 million barrel a day of oil. That's a lot, and so they use that. And because there is a blockade on them, they cannot export it, so they use most of it, and they export only to countries like China. Only China imports the oil from them. So it's so cheap. It's way cheaper to use oil to generate electricity, and also the gas, like the gas. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so what was the story then for them enriching at any level? At any level, what was the reason and the acceptance for them to have nuclear facilities, even if they were going to enrich it to a minimal level. So that was acceptable.
It was for power.
That was the narrative.
It was for power.
It was for power.
So back in the 70s, the Atoms of Peace, right? So a lot of these countries were given, or someone helped them develop these nuclear plants. So I guess theirs was from Russia. Atoms of Peace was the United States, and it was under the Shah. So they were supposed to have up to 20 nuclear plants by a certain time. They haven't. They only have one right now. They only need 3.5%, and then they need additional for isotopes when it comes to medical. So the thing is, while they do use oil, they still also use nuclear. So they need it for civilian use. And according to the NPT that they signed, they should be able to have access to it.
I'm not sure about that.
I'll
Because
the name of the nuclear plant, and I'll go ahead and put it in the chat.
yeah, but like this civilian use, I'm not sure like how much or what's the percentage of the power generated by.
So the actual organization that does their checks, which they get 5 times as many checks as any other nation, actually was the one that came up with that number for the original JCPOA that was signed under Obama. So that's the number that they said they need. They're overindulging in uranium enrichment. They don't have fucking warheads. Just because we have the uranium, they still have to have the warheads. They still have to have the vehicle to move it.
So if you take a look at the countries that use nuclear power to generate electricity, you will find out that all these countries don't have any other form of they don't have oil, they don't have gas, they don't have all that, like natural resources. Like France, for example. France, I think it's the number 1 nuclear power user. They don't have other choices. But countries that have oil, I don't think it would be cheaper to use nuclear power. I don't think it's cheaper. But what amazes me is Iran started the nuclear program in the 50s, in the era of Shah, like the ancient regime. And then they paused it for a couple years in the 80s after the Islamic Revolution, and then they started again. Actually, they started the nuclear program even before North Korea, like way before North Korea. North Korea in 2002, they had a disagreement with the United States. After this disagreement, they fired all the international nuclear inspectors. I don't know if I can call them like this, but anyway, they fired them. And from 2002, they started weaponizing their program. Guess when was their first test of a nuclear bomb? It was a small one, but still a weapon, nuclear weapon. 2006, like 4 years later, they made a bomb. And 3 years after that, like in 2009, they tested another bomb, which is 12 times more powerful than the first one. You see what I mean? Iran on the other hand, they had so many chances to weaponize their program. I don't know, I don't understand Iran exactly, whether they are genuinely credible when they say we don't want a weapon, or they're too stupid to make a bomb. Like they and actually North Korea struggles more than Iran. The blockade on North Korea is way bigger than Iran. Like the North Korean people can't find what to eat. They're starving. The Iranian people, they're not in they don't struggle a lot. Iran is still exports many things, and they have many partners that help them, and so I really don't understand, and I'm trying not to believe it, but that's what I'm leaning for. The Iranian regime is too dumb, like too dumb.
I ain't gonna say all that, but you're wrong. Nuclear is cheaper than oil, and it's cleaner. I don't, and you can say they're dumb, but there's intel that they had blueprints to even design a warhead. The difference between North Korea and freaking Iran is they actually they had blueprints as well, and they went and built a warhead. Iran hasn't done it.
So you said it's cheaper for Iran to use nuclear power than rather than oil?
It's cheaper to use nuclear than it is to use oil. Okay. And then you talk about countries only using one. The United States use multiple. We use oil. We use nuclear. We use coal. We still use coal, believe it or not, in some states. So like, you can think that countries only use one source. I don't know where you're from, but I know a lot of countries use different things for power, to generate power. So I don't know.
No, I didn't say.
You are from the Middle East, and you know, so you can let.
As I'm reading about Iran having power outages, I mean, there's a lot of information that's saying Iran suffers from power outages that was caused by natural weather, gas shortages, nationwide electricity, and I thought that was the original reason why, at least I remember, when they started up the program, is because there is a lot of outages. So maybe they're not as
expensive, and it's hard to use. It's expensive. Nuclear is so much cheaper. It's cleaner, and they only have one. They were supposed to have 20 by the 2000s. That was their plan. It just never came to fruition.
Sorry. Yes. Why I said it's cheaper to use oil in Iran. I'm not saying like in every country. I'm talking specifically about Iran. It's cheaper because I'm telling you, Iran is floating on an ocean of oil. Like the oil is, and it's cheap to get it out. Like many countries, they have oil, but it's expensive to pump it. In Iran, it's cheap, and they have a lot. And plus, they have a blockade. They cannot export their oil to Europe, for example. I'm not 100% sure, but I think only China and India import their oil from Iran. Other countries, they don't. And when they buy it, China buy it with 30% off. 30% off the price, because they are just a few nations, one of the few nations that import from Iran. So that's what makes oil cheap in Iran, inside Iran, because they use it. They just pump it and use it themselves. So it's too cheap. They don't have other alternatives. That's why I find it hard for me to why would Iran use nuclear power if it is more expensive comparing to oil in their case. I'm not saying in every case, in their case. I hope you understand me.
No, that's interesting that you're saying that. I'm looking at something from the worldbank.org, and it's saying Iran's economy is characterized by its hydrocarbon, agricultural, and service sectors, as well as noticeable state presence in the manufacturing and financial services. Iran ranks second in the world for natural gas reserves and fourth for proven crude oil reserves. So it sounds like they are a natural gas and crude oil kind of like, I don't want to say powerhouse, but just, they have a strong presence in those sectors. And yeah, if they don't have access to world markets like other places, I can see how that can affect their pocketbooks. But still, that's coming from the World Bank too. So,
I mean, they were found on oil, and that's why the Shah got outed because of oil. Yeah, we have oil. Kuwait has oil. The Middle East has oil. They have sanctions on it. So the thing is, you're right when it comes to they do use oil, but they use both. They use nuclear as well for their electricity. Well, believe it or not, you can Google that plant and see what it's being used for. Like, I don't know if you Shia, Sunni, what are you? And maybe that's a blockage. But, like, you gotta put that down and just look at what exactly they need it for infrastructure and they need it for medical purposes.
I don't have a problem with them being Shia or Sunni, or I don't care about that. I'm just telling you my understanding of the situation. That's it.
Yeah, but like factually, let's just look at facts, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, people get cancer. People get sick. They need it for medical purposes. And then if you have a plant that is producing electricity, whether it's obviously not the whole country, because Iran is not a small country, but if it's producing electricity, why are you going to say that? Why are you going to take away from the civilian population that is using it for electricity? Like, just that piece right there alone, okay? And if it's 3.5%, that was the agreed on number from the JCPOA with the research that was done by the smart guys, not a dummy like Patty or dummy in this room. This is what the smart guys said they need to maintain. Then why not allow them to at least produce 3.5%? That's not a problem. They're going to be monitored. People know, like, we just got to make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust them. I don't trust Hezbollah. I don't trust Houthis. I don't trust none of them.
Do you trust Israel?
I trust Jewish people. I don't trust them, man.
No, but hold
next
on.
Question. Next question. That's a loaded question, buddy.
No, sorry. You said you don't trust Hezbollah, you don't trust Iran, you don't trust Houthis.
I don't trust
all
the
these,
European government. I don't trust the Ayatollah. I don't trust freaking. I don't think the Iranian people are bad. I think they're in a situation.
What about the Israeli government?
I don't trust them either. At least the right wing of their government.
Okay, gotcha.
Their own National Guard don't trust their right wing. You don't remember there was a protest about 2 years ago where they didn't want to return?
Yeah.
And that was their own military, the idea.
Yeah, I thought that, didn't Israel kind of like, don't they have something like a Supreme Court, and they were kind of oust him, and it never happened, and then he got,
no, it started
more power?
Started in 2020. They're just going through cross-examinations as of this month. And they put it on pause for war. Every time it's an excuse. I can't go to court because of war. I can't go to court because of war. He's been in court since 2020. It's 5 years later.
And this is within his own country. His own country trying to put.
So he's basically a dictator.
But he can't.
I don't know about him being a dictator, but I know he's a thief.
Yeah, I mean, a thief and a dictator. So in other words, they'll start wars every time his trial comes up to stay in power. Sometimes dictators, maybe threaten their people, they kill their people to stay in power. Sometimes they just start wars with other people and they can subvert, a lot of other shit to stay in power. I think Bill Clinton said that the other time about BB.
You said BB is a thief and he's not a war criminal?
He's definitely a war criminal and definitely a thief. Doesn't he have like fraud charges or some shit like that going on? And definitely.
Yeah, but he's going through the due process. In my mind, he'd be. How about that?
I mean, the world court is after him. His own country's after him. A lot of people are trying to get him to sit down and talk about what he's doing, but he keeps on shooting off rockets. And then it pauses everything. And then, dude, he's been around since like what? Clinton, right? Since Clinton, right?
Yeah.
Come on now. I think he's been around for longer than Putin's been around, right? He's been around longer than Putin, right?
Yeah. Putin started governing in 1999, around that time.
Damn, Netanyahu like 92, right?
Netanyahu since the 90s, yeah. I don't remember exactly the year, but yeah, he's...
I couldn't even tell you who was before Netanyahu. I couldn't tell you. Because I don't know. And I've been around for a long time. I know who's dirt.
Well, you have Sharon, you have Ehud Olmert, you have what's the other guy? Some of them, but that guy, Sharon was a big guy before he died. And then you had, going way back, Yitzhak Rabin, he was assassinated. You had Perez.
They said that he might be behind that Rabin.
Yeah, it's Menachem Begin thing. I'm sorry. Menachem Begin, yes. Well, Yitzhak Rabin's wife did say that Bibi contributed to her husband being assassinated by ratcheting up the rhetoric, and when instead of calming it down, he ratcheted up, and you had these zesty or folks who were livid that he could have calmed down. He didn't. His widow did say that.
And then wasn't Menachem Begin like also a terrorist, and he helped like blow a building up?
Well, you can go back. You can go back to what's the guy who founded one of the founders of Israel, and the guy they blew up the hotel. The whole region is just most of them in all of these states or territories have some type of violence and.
Yep. But have you ever asked the question, why would the U.S. be involved in every war or every conflict?
Okay, one more breaking news. I'm sorry, you guys. Just to reiterate, if we haven't said it 5-10 times in here, Iranian foreign minister says no agreement. But now this is on MSNBC at the bottom of their ticker. But intends to end attacks only if Israel does also. They're saying that they don't have an agreement. I don't know what's going on, but every minute is a different, I don't know if it's the wording, I don't know what's going on here, but it's something as usual with Trump. This shit, something's not right here. Either they are ceasefire or they're not. And Netanyahu hasn't came out and said a word. Has anybody found a quote from Netanyahu yet? Because I'm looking now, my eyes are hurting, looking for him to have said something. Anybody?
I haven't seen anything.
Did y'all hear about that assassination attempt on Ayatollah?
When was this? Today?
Like 3 hours ago.
No, I haven't seen that anywhere. Let me see if I can go find it.
BB is a dangerous thing. If he's as big of a monster as everybody says he is, he must got some kind of good kind of security to not have been taken out by now. 'Cause this is crazy.
I think once he leaves the region is gonna be way better off. Him and like Smotrich and Benny Morris. Once that those extreme point of views leave, it should be way better.
You see some of the policies they're trying to pass?
Shit is crazy.
That shit sound like Project 2025.
This might be not politically correct to say, but I think Bibi and his extreme right-wing government has done more harm for the cause of the Jewish state of Israel than probably any other of their leaders in recent time. I think he's done immeasurable damage to that. And it's unfortunate because there is a difference. But I think many people won't see that when they look at all the carnage that he's caused.
Actually, Israel, guys, is going towards extremism more and more. If you think Netanyahu is an extremist, wait a couple years, and you're gonna see what the true Israel is. And actually, the more they become extremist, the more dangerous the region will be to them as a Jewish people. I don't know why they did that and why they did it this way, but you looked for a safe haven for the European Jews. You came to the region, and you think you're still in the 16th century, where you can commit a genocide and exterminate the local people and found your country, your civilization, and nobody gonna say nothing. That's wrong. And also you go to an Arab place, like an Arab region, like you can kill all the Palestinians, okay. And let's say you did it. You succeeded in that. But the other Arabs wouldn't forgive that. Never. Maybe now you're strong. You have technology. You have technology. And also you have alliances with other superpowers. But the situation can change. And then the retaliation gonna be really, really, really bad. I don't hope so. I don't wish for that. But I'm telling you.
Breaking news. That last ceasefire was bullshit. Israel just attacked them again. Crazy.
This is what I was trying to tell you.
This shit is crazy.
This is what I was telling you. I told you guys that he's been
lying. Hold on.
They've been lying.
Attack what? Like what? Like a bomb?
Iran, another huge bomb too. And an assassination attempt. And they're trying to figure out, the safety of the Ayatollah.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Wait, Trump said what now? What did Trump say was going on?
No, so that fake ceasefire. Yeah, that was
Where's CEO? Because he had so much
Where's Man Fetty and CEO? Where they at?
Yeah, because they were so certain.
Look, on cue. I told you guys, they've been lying ever since every ceasefire they had. They've lied.
Hey, can I just?
They've lied.
Hey, let me just add this to the room. So, Trump tweeted. So when this ceasefire supposedly happened, Trump tweeted that they can still finish out their missions that are already planned for the next 12 hours. I'm just asking.
Yo,
you laugh all you want.
No, it's crazy, bro. I don't know how these Arabs like even listen to these ceasefires at this point. Like, once they they might as well go as far as once they come up with a ceasefire, just start bombing. Like,
But that's what I'm saying. Are ceasefires instant? Are ceasefires always
supposed to be?
They're not always instant.
Supposed to
You have phased and you have ceasefire. Originally, it was supposed to be a phased ceasefire. So that doesn't mean it's an immediate. That's what I was telling y'all earlier. So
Patty, they might as well go ahead and once they strike a ceasefire, from now on, these Arabs should just start fucking throwing their missiles. Because they know, judging by the past of Israel, they're gonna get bombed, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they did. Didn't Iran just shoot missiles like 20 minutes ago?
But you guys knew what the ceasefire was. Trump said 12 hours for Israel to wrap up and 6 hours for Iran.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, I thought it was 12 hours.
Well, you got the time wrong.
24.
Yeah, 24.
24 hours for Iraq.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we can go over it again. We can go over the actual verbatim what Trump said in his True Social post.
Is that Ace down there? Hey, Ace.
That is Ace. So what happened was, can I just finish, you guys? Because I'm getting really tired. So what happened was when we first opened up this room, I said that it was fake. I've been saying this for hours, and I said it didn't make sense. And especially since Netanyahu, as much as he likes to talk and say that he's not going to stop and give lay the whole plan out of how he's going to go over there and take these people down, both in Gaza and over here in Iran, he ain't said a word. And then what's coming out of Iran is that we didn't say we were going to stop, and we have a ceasefire when they stop bombing us. And then at the same time, I'm giving you guys in real time that they were still bombing each other in real time live. We listened to that. So this is where we are. Now I'm even more confused. I don't know what is going on. CEO said what did he call it before he left? He put a name to it. Then he ended with, don't believe everything Trump. I said, wait a minute, you can't do this. You can't come in here and start celebrating a victory, and then you and Infinity both leave the room by saying you can't believe everything Trump says. It's like, this is getting ridiculous here. He's the president of the United States. And now that I know I can't believe the person who leads this country and supposedly the free world, we are fucked. This is crazy. No, what is going on? What is really happening? Does anybody really know?
I have pinged our favorite Trumpers back in.
I think we're not supposed to know. I think that's it, and I think Trump has told us this. You don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It could happen last minute. He tells us every time. He tells us every time, and then we keep wanting to believe in a reason.
Michael Jackson's Palestine song, which is literally he never wrote, but a state. They have no record of it ever. It's internet fantasy or whatever.
They don't put out
rumor, and there's no substantiation. Things going off on it. And he was talking about how Rabbi Shmuley's daughter's adult store was bombed by Iran and getting off on that.
I don't see it yet.
What?
I don't see the room.
It's called, I thought you were in there because there's another anon. It's called, search for this group. No, it's just in it. I left. It's in it anonymously. Problem is, it doesn't mean it's consistent with subscriber. Someone had to search for a person. Find out what room they're in. Did you ever do that? Oh, here, here's some. Trump's Iran, that's Israel ceasefire colon a Zionist PR stunt. Just search for Zionist PR.
Let's see. Oh, I found it.
Got it?
And I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
thanks.
gonna
I'll talk to you
come
soon.
off in conspiracy theory. It's not conspiracy theory, but
Yeah.
the music business has historically had a
Doge
major
Republican.
Jewish influence
Doge Republican.
from a business perspective. So, I believe the name of the song I'm saying is Palestine, Don't Cry. I just don't see something like that being released with the powers that be in the music business. But Michael Jackson was an extreme.
That's exactly the point.
Yeah. He was an extreme humanitarian. And he obviously, we know that he advocated for world peace in a multitude of ways. And it's unfortunate that a song like that didn't get the attention that it truly deserved, because it would have been amplified by him as an artist.
Yeah, he was beefing with Sony very hard during that time, with specifically Tommy Mottola. That's the person he was calling the devil, I think, on that History album.
Wait, who did he call the devil?
I think it was Tommy Mottola.
Who's he?
Wasn't he the Sony president at the time?
He was the head of the president of Sony Records. The History album came out in 1995.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson came out against Tommy Mottola in the late 90s. But if you go back and listen to the History album, you can see where the song Palestine Don't Cry fits into the overall message of the album, because he has the song They Don't Really Care About Us on that album. It's a protest album, so it's unfortunate that song wasn't on that album.
He also has that song, and he talks about Palestine. What About Us? Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh yeah, it's the song "Anything for Money." If you listen to that album on the History, that song on the History album, he calls out a lot of the guys who were in charge of his record company at the time. That's actually a really good song, but yeah, he's calling a lot of people out in the industry in that song. Anything for money.
Wow, they did the attack in Beersheba. I think they killed, 3 people, 3 Israelis killed, and then he got into a bunch of cars and damaged the building. Beersheba is a city inside Israel. I think they should take over Israel. It should become part of Iran. What do you guys think? It should become part of Iran, and Iran can run, and then Iran can allow everybody to coexist with each other. It should not be in the hands of the Zionist entity.
I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Did you hear about they attacked the Ashdod electrical grid, and 8,000 Israelis they may still be out of power. That was this morning.
Oh my God, that's so sad. Oh.
Yeah.
So sad. So they're actually having less than 1% of feeling how the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip feel. Like, oh wow.
Yeah. And they're going to the world, look, we're without